If you've ever sat around Monday and Tuesday and waited for the market to drown in Lake Powell on Wednesday, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Welcome back. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. We are back at it. We got a lot of stuff going on. We got earnings this morning. Got some stocks that are moving around here this morning. Of course, we've got the Fed here today. So lots on deck. We're going to break it down. Good to see everybody. Let's roll.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
All right. Hello and good morning, folks. It is great to see a whole bunch of returning faces here. Happy Wednesday. We should have a big day on deck, so we're going to go ahead and break that stuff down as best we can. First thing I'm going to do is welcome on 13. 13, how you doing?
Hi, everybody. I'm doing all right. Just having a good morning. Just trying to go through some of these earnings and some of this news, see what's moving, and just kind of checking all the boxes.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds like you are preparing. So
I'm ready.
That is all good. We got a lot going on. So before we get started here, I do want to mention Stream is sponsored by Trade the Pool. If you need a prop firm account, go ahead and check them out. Now, let's just go ahead and start talking about the SPY here. Here is your daily chart. This is what we've checked in on pretty much every morning when we first start here. It's pretty clear that we were rejected at that 50 and also at that 20. I guess it took 2 days for that rejection process to really happen. And down we go here. So we were down in the after hours yesterday on the backs of some earnings. We're a little bit lighter here today, down a little bit more here this morning. We did have some earnings here this morning. Looked like all of them were pretty much trading lower with the exception of Pfizer. And 13, you brought up a really good point. Pfizer had been massively beaten down recently, and that might be the reason why it really didn't get hammered as much as some of these other names. But lots of earnings this morning. We had CVS, MasterCard, Barrick Gold, Wingstop. I think Wingstop might have been higher here. That company is absolutely killing it. Yeah, Wingstop is higher here, so that's your other one. So say again.
Like them wings.
I mean, look, we came out of NFL playoffs, Super Bowl, and then March Madness. I can't even fathom how many wings were eaten during that period. So Wingstop, they've also been executing. We've talked a lot about that. Been really good. Anyway, SPY here looks like we're right above the 100-day moving average, just a couple of points above it. That does look to me like the next stop. 13, you got any levels or anything that you're looking at here in the SPY? I know we got the Fed today, so lots of stuff can happen. You got up or downside levels that we should pay attention to?
Yes, I do. 500 is going to be on deck. We already tested it, a little bit this morning in pre-market, but bulls came in and said not yet. So it looks like they don't want to see the price break down just yet. But I think that it's going to be inevitable one way or the other. This is more of along the lines of the drop we were looking for with we were talking about yesterday, selling ahead of the Fed meeting coming up, or the FOMC meeting coming up today and tomorrow. So this is the drop that we were expecting. I guess we'll just use that word. Now because we had this big drop, there's going to be a bit of a slowdown. What Powell says today is likely going to determine how this market trades. We're going to probably see some volatility, and then as far as levels go, aside from 500, we have that 5% pullback level, which is at 498 and 38 cents, and beneath that we have 494.50. So those are going to be the next two downside levels that we'll need to look for support, because after that we start a little bit more of a longer drop off into the 480s beneath that. So anyway, that's those are the levels I'm looking to see if we break down from, but I think that we'll probably end up seeing some consolidation today and some whipping around from Powell talking.
Now, are you positioned ahead of Powell, or are you looking to just kind of react to what happened?
I was buying SQQQ yesterday when we had strength in the morning. So I did. That
was a good trade.
I did really well toward the end of the day. I sold about half of what I picked up. I'm just kind of holding on to that right now, seeing what happens. If we start to rise too much, then I'll just ease out of it some more. But this is just one of those things I'm trading around. The SQQQ, get big, in and out of it. You can look and see the past several days that we've had some pretty big moves. So it's been helping those long and short trades that you just kind of trade around.
All right. Sounds good. Let's go ahead and take a look at a couple of individual names. First one that I wanted to bring up here is TGTX. They reported earnings here, TG Therapeutics. And actually, I should probably zoom in a little bit. That looks a little bit. There we go. That should make it a little bit easier to see. TG Therapeutics shares are trading higher following a Q1 revenue beat and increased 2024 Briumvi U.S. net product revenue outlook. So you folks might remember TGTX. This has actually been an excellent stock over the past, about a year now, going back into 2023. I've traded this for a gain in the prop account. I've traded options on this. I've traded this in my regular account, the whole 9 yards here. So TGTX has been a great trader. I have no position going into today's move. So I definitely want to watch and see how this stock behaves. You can see we popped right up into the previous resistance zone here, just shy of 19. So we'll see if we are able to end up taking that off here, though. TGTX, good stuff. Conference calls in progress right now. So shout out there, TGTX. Okay. Let's go ahead and move over to the movers tool. We'll go through some of the things that are gapping. We'll come back, take a look at stocks that anyone wants. You got one we want to do first?
Well, just a little bit of about TGTX. They have pretty high short interest, and they have over 15 days to cover. So we're getting a bit of a squeeze here, in addition to them raising their guidance from their last report. So a couple of things actually really pushing this. It does have a 139 million share float. So there is it's not as easy to push around, but the fact that we're squeezing here might make that be the difference there. I think we're going to be seeing some squeezing in this.
Yeah, I think so too. And we've seen TGTX move quite a bit, multi-day runs in some cases. So keep that in mind here, TGTX. Okay, let's go over to the movers tool and let's talk about what's going on here. Lots of stuff moving here. We're going to start with CTMX. I see the chat going absolutely buck wild over CTMX. This is Cytomex Therapeutics. This stock here, you can see this was about $1.62 yesterday, up 98% here on the pre-market on pretty huge volume as well. If we take a look at the news here, they reported first quarter results and provided an update on CX-904 phase 1A clinical data. And we're also expecting phase 1 clinical data on May 8th. So this is really interesting to me. We've got earnings today. It's driving the stock up. They're telling us when to expect some data here. Do you have any read on this? To me, this actually feels like they're kind of setting up like, hey, we've got some data that's coming. It almost seems like they're trying to say we've got some good news around the corner. Is that the read that you get?
I still don't know if I would want to hold this into that earnings report and phase 1 data that comes out next week. As good as it seems, I don't know what to expect. I don't know enough about this company that makes me want to hold it. It does seem like it's got a little bit more institutional investors in it than a typical biotech does. So that there could be that could be something to consider. But I feel like that as soon as that news comes out, it's going to be a real big sell the news event. If we don't, see some weakness after today, I think I really don't know what to make of this, to be honest with you. I think it's not going to work out if I hold.
So what I'm gathering from you is you're not chasing the stock up almost 100% here, hoping for another 100% after the data. Okay, I think that's sharp. One of the things I think we can do with this in terms of game plan 13 is I think that we can day trade any of the momentum that we see here today. Then wait and see if this gets pounded and find some type of support level. And then, and only then, maybe if you want to hold it, go ahead and try it. Like that strategy there. 13.
I think that's better.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on this. We'll keep an eye on this one here today. Okay, really good stuff. Now, Pally, this is a former girlfriend, right? I feel like Pally has been on our list a whole bunch here. We've got a really nice looking bull flag forming here on the 1 minute. Palisade BioShares trading higher after the company announced completion of its analysis to determine the effects of bioactivated Pally 2108 on TNF alpha production in the whole blood assay. So, someone that is more into medical stuff might understand this right off the cuff here. Market telling you that this is great. Pally up 40% here, having a nice little flag on Pally. Now trading, I can't tell you how great the news is. 13, maybe you're more up on some of your medical. I don't know. But what I can tell you here is I have a very, very clear trade plan. I beg your pardon. 825 downside. 912 upside here. When we break either of these, I want to see a retest of that level and then that move continue. we'll absolutely try and take advantage of that one. This one has been liquid enough for us to trade every time that we've seen it here. I anticipate the same type of thing here today. So Pally actually giving us a pretty nice formation. Would love to see a breakdown to the bottom end here, and then maybe a pop through the VWAP, give us a long side trade that really starts to run away. That'd be pretty cool. We'll see if we end up getting that here on Pally. You got anything on this one? I know you've traded this before.
Yeah, I have traded this before. I don't remember when it was. It was earlier this year. But this news is pre-phase one. It's an analysis completion. They're just looking at the efficacy of their drug, basically through microscopes. This is not a human trial yet. They're supposed to start that later this year. So this is it's not super significant, but it's pre-phase one. We'll just leave it at that. 727,000 shares in the float. They did a reverse 1-for-15 reverse split back on April 8th. So those are several of the boxes checked in order for this to be a pretty decent mover. I couldn't tell you which way out of the gate here, but my first thought is that could end up being down, but we could end up recovering somewhere down the line underneath 7 possibly. But that would be my guess. I really don't know which way this is going to open, but if a strike sets up, I think this is going to be worth trading because the float's so low.
Okay. Real good stuff there on Pally. Now, next on the list here, I've got IMCC. This is IM Cannabis. Now, let me just, first of all, I'm not actually familiar with this particular ticker. So one of the things that I would want to see is how does this actually trade when this opens? But we did have news yesterday that affected the entire cannabis sector, right? News that the DEA plans to reclassify cannabis as a less dangerous drug. Well, gosh, you're about 3 decades too late there, DEA, but nonetheless, it's good to see this happening here. We were talking off camera about this. This is the start of really what we need here, right, for full-blown federal legalization.
Yeah.
The big thing for some of these stocks are how are these companies going to do their banking? How safe is it going to be? This right here, one of the first steps that we need to see. Do you like is this enough? Let me put it this way. Is this enough for you to then be bullish on the sector, not just IMCC, but the cannabis sector in general?
Well, long before I even got into stocks, I've always felt that we'll see legalization one day. And I've been, positive on that for a very long time, even when I was younger. But as far as the stocks go, we still don't have that schedule reclassification yet. Mm-hmm. We don't have some other legislation that's going to help protect banks from any litigation, arising from doing business with companies that sell still technically a federally illegal drug. So it's going to be a good first step once that reclassification happens, but it needs to happen first before I get excited. So because we've talked about this, we've seen talk about this, over the past several years. Nothing's quite materialized from it yet. So until that reclassification happens, I'm probably just going to, keep waiting. I want to actually see some real things occur first. That's going to be one of them. Mm-hmm. And legislation in Congress is going to be the other. Okay.
Real good stuff there. I'm on the exact same page. I will say here, no reason why you can't trade it ahead of time.
Sure. Absolutely.
Jay's Life here. These marijuana companies will finally be able to use banks and get approved for loans and have tax initiatives. This is a big thing for the industry. Also, Jay, congratulations on your marijuana trade from last week. That thing was an absolute banker. You get to start the day off with a register ring here. Awesome stuff. I know IMCC is the ticker that's in focus here today, but it's going to affect a lot of these tickers that we talk about on a regular basis. Tilray, CGC, ACB, even some of the ETFs, MSOS, MSOX, which is the levered MSOS. Lots of stuff in the cannabis sector to play. It'll be very interesting to see how all of these stocks kind of hold up. Do they pull back? Is there more runs here? Because I agree with you. There's more stuff that we actually need to get done for this to reach the finish line or perhaps even go through the finish line. But this is a really good step and stocks are reacting to it. So real good stuff there.
Yeah, and there's a question here from Robert. Safe Banking Act is what we need, right? That's another component we absolutely need. And I think that one was introduced, and there's another one being introduced that offers a little bit more protections for some other financial institutions. It's called SAFER Act. It's just add an R at the end of that. So yes, we do need that legislation to go through. That would actually be pretty huge. And it's one of the 2 components I think we need in order to start seeing these marijuana companies really start to take off. that and the reschedulization.
Okay, we should see these things higher once that happens. Yeah. TGTX, we already covered that. POAI, Predictive Oncology. This is another one that's ramping here this morning. Predictive Oncology shares trading higher after the company announced a collaboration with FluGen for an intranasal flu vaccine. Yikes, I'll pass, but this is actually trading up here about 20% here in the pre-market. The one thing that I noticed is that the highs that we put in yesterday, we have made a series of lower highs. So I want to see some of that change. We actually are beneath the VWAP right here, kind of in no man's land. I'd want this to confirm some type of base or maybe some upside momentum before trading it. I think we got other names on the docket here that are going to be a little bit easier to trade right out of the gate. Just my 2 cents there. You got anything on POAI?
You covered it. They have just slightly under 4 million share float, so it should see some good movement. That collaboration with FluGen for nasal spray vaccine, I think you're going to start seeing a lot of these different methods of delivery for vaccinations, and this is kind of one of the ones they're doing. I think the oral one is the big one that everybody wants.
Yeah, I think so too.
But the nasal spray, I guess it's better than getting jabbed for some people. So that might be what is preferred. One thing I wanted to mention, not related to this stock, Pally, we were just talking about it. That actually ended up dropping lower. So, and now it's trying to recover a bit. So this is kind of what I was worried about. The MACD didn't look too good. It's starting to roll over here. So we might actually get an opportunity after we open.
Yeah, remember this is this is the bottom end of that consolidation range that I was watching. Appreciate that shout out. We did break beneath it. We'll take a look at it when the market actually opens here. See what that first print gives us. Next here is going to be NYCB, and we've talked a lot about the banks here. Some of us think that the banks are still in trouble. No rates coming. Something's going to break, or no rate cuts coming. I beg your pardon. Something's still going to break. New York, NYCB here. New York Community Bank Corp shares trading higher. Company reported Q1 financial results here today. Anyone a buyer of any of these smaller banks? I still think that this is risky. Richard, I think from our chat here, Richard, if you're here this morning, good morning. I know that you have traded this a number of times. Day traded, very, very short-term trading, trying to catch some of these moves and have done quite well with it. So maybe that's what's in store here for NYCB. I wouldn't chase. I think we're pulling back to the VWAP here. We'll see if we can actually kind of gain some momentum, take 340 out to the upside. You got anything on NYCB? I know I'm running a little fast here, but
I know I'm gonna match your speed, dude. So here we go. 673 million shares in the float. They do have a slight short interest here at about 10.6%. 3 days to cover. One of the things I want to kind of bring back around with the whole marijuana thing is if we do start to get that legalization or that the SAFER Act making its way through Congress, we start to see the reschedulization. I think it may be worth taking a look at some of the regional banks in the states where they have a lot of marijuana growers. Right now, the highest by volume is California, Oregon, and Colorado. Mm-hmm. So I think it might be worth taking a look at which banks would be having the most exposure to that industry that's kind of getting the way cleared for it to be more legal for these banks to do business with them. So I think that it bears worth paying attention to some of the regional banks in those areas where there's a lot of cannabis production and sales.
Okay, when are they going to start doing it in Texas? Everything's bigger in Texas. I want to see big marijuana buds coming out of the Texas farm.
We'll have to wait and see. I know that our governor's not too enthusiastic about that, so we'll have to wait and see with that. But there is some headway being made on the CBD level, so I think it's only a matter of time.
I would agree with you. Okay. AGBA. I know a number of the chat members were talking about this. This had a huge run out of the open. Big day trader for us yesterday. We really bled a lot of those gains back. It's curling again here today. Actually looks like it's trying to take out the pre-market highs. We might see a day two run here in AGBA. So for those looking to day trade something, keep this one on your watch list, but be careful. Remember, we got a huge run yesterday, and we really need to see volume like yesterday's volume if this is going to participate again here today. The volume is going to tell the story here on AGBA. Should be relatively easy to identify, but this one is curling here from yesterday. Okay, we're pretty much getting ready to open here. Jay, I know you had mentioned Wingstop. We did take a look at Wingstop earlier. This new all-time highs. The stock's absolutely killing it. One thing here for a potential trade is you actually might get a gap and go here. On Wingstop. For those of you interested in gap and go trades, relatively easy to do. I would just use that 9 EMA as your indicator. Wingstop gearing up to open up higher here. All right. We are almost there, aren't we? With 5 seconds, baby.
Thanks for that info, Voodoo. I'm going to have to look into that some more, but I totally understand where you're coming from. I need to check that some more.
All right, we are open here. I saw cattle getting a mention.
And HWH as well.
Looks like it totally jacked up my chart here. All right, well, let me flip over. Big, and actually, just nope. Oh, wait a sec. There we go. Boom. No. Aaron Thomas, look at this. Aaron Thomas hooked it up. That was operator error. That was my fault. We got this rolling here now. Real quick, by the way, cattle did have a nice, decent day yesterday, though it's coming in here to start. All right. Riot opening up, going lower. Let's check around.
AGBA had a pop out of the gate here to 437. It looks like 437. I'm sorry, 347. Sorry about the numbers. Pally sideways out of the open. IMCC trying to find support here from the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. TGTX, even though it has a large float, it's trying to push up here. The pre-market high I have for that is 1857. So it's and
TGTX here actually doing a really good job holding the VWAP. We'll see if we get any type of go there. Wingstop here actually dropped a little bit, but getting bought. Rustam, good morning. It's great to see you again. BRTX looks like it might be curling. This was on deck yesterday.
I think so,
might be curling here. Volume super low though. I want to see some more volume come into this name before we take a look at it. CTMX, one of our big rippers here out of the gate. This pulling back towards the VWAP. 13. Are you liking this? If this holds the VWAP here,
if it holds the VWAP, I might consider it. But I'm watching the MACD. It's starting to look like it wants to curl over now. Sometimes I've seen the MACD start to converge, but it then ends up bouncing and going higher. So I'm kind of waiting to see what happens here with this one. For something that has such oh no, this has a 67 million share float. So that's probably one of the reasons why we're not seeing such crazy movement right now. But if it holds here and starts to go sideways, 350, that's the level to beat.
Jay Wild mentioning Pally here. Pally is trying to get back to that VWAP here.
Yeah.
It's a little bit spready, and the volume here. I mean, I'm not seeing huge orders. I guess there are some prints here. This trying to go back to the VWAP, that pre-market high on Pally, almost $10. So if we can reclaim that VWAP, probably $1.40 move up to that 10 spot. We'll see if I got to take a breath there.
It's we created this consolidation, this supply zone here in pre-market, and we've kind of fell beneath it just before the open. So now it's got to chew its way back up through that, and it's looking like it's having a hard time doing that. It might be one of those things where we have to wait for this to go lower, and then it's going to come back and take it out later. So just something to watch for.
Jay mentioning Nari here, ticker NARI. This moving out of the gate here. I don't see a trade setup here yet. This testing that 44.15. There's definitely going to be some resistance there. We've actually gapped above the 20-day. We're testing, we're going to be testing the 50-day right where we're at, but just above this here, we've got a gap from about 50.5 up to 57.5. So if Nari keeps going here, gap to be filled on this one. This is a good mention here, Jay.
Yeah,
this is mentioned here. I don't have any position or a setup there, but one to watch.
They had earnings yesterday, and they reported better than expected Q1 sales and issued fiscal year 2024 revenue guidance above estimates. So higher guide, higher prices now.
Sally, good morning. MDXG. This is my Medics Group. This popping here, low volume but popping here. I'd want to see more volume flow into this name before trading it. See, what else do we have going here? Looks got the SQQQ trying to curl up. Sorry, 13. Go ahead.
CTMX down testing VWAP right now. It's at the 305 level. I have that as a support level here.
CTMX.
Yeah, that was when we were just talking about a second ago.
Yeah, that's right here at the VWAP.
Yeah.
Actually try some here, right? Let's see.
Okay, do this. NYCB coming down to the 65 EMA on the 5-minute. So that one's leaking here. POAI, just nothing but downside right now. I'm going to find some levels in this. Maybe I can get you an idea of where this one's going to head. My first thought would be probably back to some of this consolidation we saw over the past several days. CTMX here. One of the things to watch here, we've got some size here at 310. If that can get taken, we might actually move a little bit higher here on CTMX. Now watch that level. This is not bouncing off the VWAP quickly, but that
That's not over yet. Let's check in on some of the pot names here. Looks like ACB pulling pretty significantly. How about the rest of them? CGC doing the same thing. This is one of the reasons why I was saying don't chase this pot move. Great job by those of you that sold into it to book gains. It's exactly what you're supposed to do. But I think we actually might get this price to kind of settle before we get an opportunity at the next trade here. I'm seeing a lot of mentions about uranium going huge here today.
Yes.
Up here, a URA up here. Jay, I think you're on there. I think both Jays are on this actually.
As I recall, and you guys that are trading uranium, you tell me if this is the reason why it's moving, because I think it is. There was an announcement, I think, that some portion of a Georgia plant came online. I want to say yesterday. I don't know if that's what it's moving on, but I remember reading something about how we just had an expansion of one of the power supplies out in Georgia. So tell me if that's what this is moving on, because I think that's what might be happening here. And if it's not, then please educate me on what it's moving on.
Pally really breaking down here, right? Tried to curl, couldn't quite get to that VWAP. Now we've got new lows here, big red candle on volume. I want that to firm up before we try that here. Hopefully nobody got hurt. TGTX still doing a good job holding above its VWAP. I think Pinterest reported, didn't it? Pinterest holding higher here.
Uranium ban passed. Russia uranium ban passed. Okay, so that's something I didn't see yet. Thank you.
And by the way, SLS here, this is Celis Life Sciences. This traded up to the VWAP, rejected. But watch if this gets some strength and can move through the VWAP. How's AGBA, you folks that were trading that? This looks like this is breaking down here a little bit.
Well, breaking down,
That's
but
mentioning STGW.
TGTX still trying to push and get above 18. It got rejected 5 minutes ago. Now it's trying again.
Yeah, White House banned Russian uranium.
Okay,
what's going on there?
I missed that news, so thanks for keeping me up there, guys. Yeah, Pally's still trying to find a bottom here. If it can't find a bottom, around this 775 area, I still think that we're going down just underneath 7.
POAI, this looks like that's look out below. CTMX, it's holding here at this VWAP. Actually has a bid to support it now. Might try a little here, see if we can add. Really do want to take out that 310 level. I'm actually going to take some here. CTMX. If we really start breaking down, we can actually close this one here. Let me get the stop loss on this. I'm looking to add, though. I don't want this to be the full size here. I would much rather add on this here. We'll see if we end up getting beneath this. If we lose 290, we'll cut this one. I definitely want to add, though, if we can end up curling up here. We'll see. CTMX. SLS we'll take a look at. Looks like that's getting bought back up, but we'll see if it still struggles with that VWAP there.
Pfizer's
getting mentioned.
Pfizer's getting a bit of a push here.
Now, Pfizer reported earnings today. This was one of the stocks that was actually up 13. You brought up a really good point that this was severely beaten down. Probably one of the reasons it's actually popping and going green here. Pfizer, nice move off the VWAP here. I have pre-market highs here on Pfizer at 27, looks like, on the dot.
Yeah, that's what I got too. And it looks like if we can get through this 2650 level here, where there's a pretty good amount of sell orders, we could see 27 again. CDNA not on the list here, but man, this just going here. CDNA. This is definitely worth watching. Wait for this to come back into the VWAP. Maybe we'll get a setup there. Looks like we have NYCB trying to rebound here off of the $3 level. Coming up to VWAP right now. See if we can push through that or get rejected. Got a bit of a consolidation here from the pre-market, so it's going to have a bit of a time chewing through that.
Pally recovered here. Looks like it's trying to take out the VWAP. Watch that on Pally. This happened quick, Danielle. This looked like this was really going to kind of break down. Buyers really stepped in here.
727,000 shares. It's a very low float. It will move quite quickly.
CTMX here looking like it might lose 3 here. Yeah, I'm not sure about this one. This might not bounce here. I do want to add if we sell off a little bit more here. See if we can bounce. I want to play this for a bounce.
What else we have moving?
Thinking about it, I bought Pfizer on that giant call option you mentioned a few days ago, Ryan. Well, thinking about it, you know what? You are going to get a register ring because it looks like somebody knew something, right? Positioning themselves ahead of that earnings print. Pfizer popping here today against a market that was down for the most part. CTMX fell again here. I'm almost at my stop. If it starts to bounce and maybe takes 3 out again, maybe we'll try adding some more here. CTMX, but otherwise this looking weak. Tally popped 8. Okay.
Yep. STFU mentioning WISA. Hey, that seems to be one of the fun ones to trade. It's got a lot of price action, but man, after the morning's over, it usually ends up pretty bad for the rest of the day. So just be careful if you trade this morning. It's probably not going to end well in the afternoon based on the previous days that we've had here with this one.
AMD showing life. I think I might get stopped out of this CTMX. Here's AMD. They reported earnings yesterday, really sold off here. Would be interesting to see if this can actually go green, close that gap up. Got that up to 158.
NARI is starting to put in a bit of a bull flag or bull pennant formation here. We kind of need to see some more price action to get an idea of what we're going to end up with here ultimately. But it looks like as long as it holds above VWAP here for a little bit longer, we could see it take out that 44.48 high that it just put in about 5 minutes ago or so.
Yeah, remember that 44.23 is where that 50-day moving average is. It is definitely flirting with that area as we speak here.
POAI may have found a bottom. It looks like 147. It started to turn around. Volume's not great, so it may just be needing to set up before volume comes back in. POAI, that might be bottoming here. I think 140 would be the lowest. I would be allowing it to go before I decided I'm not going to do anything about it.
All right, added a little bit more here to CTMX. Looked like it's trying to bounce here, but we got to reset the stop just in case.
Pfizer looks like it's trying to make a push here through 2650.
Okay, we'll check on Pfizer. Did do a little bit of adding right here under 3. They did take 3, by the way, and then moved a little bit lower. So we'll see. Pfizer does look like this is trying to go higher here. MNDR. And they're mentioned here from Bex. This one, halted to the downside. Wow, MNDR. I'll tell you what, you had multiple days to sell this humongous winner. From Bex, weren't you in this from like $6? Massive winner there. Stopped out of CMTX. That one ended up not working here. That's okay. That might still go. MSFT and Amazon getting mentioned here.
Pally's chewing through that pre-market consolidation right now.
So what do you think happens to tech, Jay, if Powell is hawkish and if Powell is dovish? How do you look at tech in those scenarios? Pally, wow, this is what we were hoping for in CTMX. Pally reversed that sell-off, now taking out the VWAP. Volume looks good. Jay Wild, hopefully you're still in this one, man. This was a great move out of the open.
Yeah, it was pretty good. That selling in pre-market, that big old drop, that was pretty good to get this curl going. So that was nice to have. Looks like we got through that just barely through that 2650 in Pfizer. Seller was still trying to come in and push it down, but let's wait and see. We might get back up to 27 here in short order.
OCGN curling pretty much no volume here. Looked like Crow, you took a stab there at CGC at 12. ACB here moving down towards 7. This trying to bounce as well. What else we've got going around out here? Tesla just kind of holding up in the same area. It's not really, I'm surprised here. Tesla's normally a pretty big mover. Look at Root. They reported earnings yesterday, traded up in the after hours to almost 100. Stock is absolutely crazy. Big pull here today, right out of the open. Right, almost round trip to those earnings. Holy cow, Root.
Yep. Pally still trying to push through. I think we're going to really see it start to move once we get through 9.
Watch the TLT, Ryan. That's all I can say on Powell. Okay, so when Powell starts going, you've got a TLT up, and then you're trading based off what you see on the TLT here. That works.
What was the one we were being alerted to?
TBT, I think, is the one that we were talking about yesterday. This is the Lehman 20-year Treasury, TBT.
Yeah. All right, Pfizer really going now, moving up into the 2670s area. So that was looking pretty good. Looks like it wants to go for 27. We'll have to see if it can get there. So far, so good on that one.
Pally, this was a really great move. Jay, let me know if you booked there. I owe you a register ring. Really good stuff there on Pally.
Looks like CGC is trying to turn around and go up to VWAP. Still waiting for NARI, N-A-R-I, to have this pattern resolve here. It looks like it's going to be putting in something a little more akin to a bull flag.
This flag looks good, though.
Yeah, it does. I just want to see it kind of make that move pretty soon before MACD starts saying otherwise. WISA is trying to get back up to that 571 high we put in about 10 minutes ago. CTMX had a drop through VWAP. Looking to see if we can get some support there. POAI still trying to recover. What else is moving here?
Just rolling through
okay, here we go.
That I see here.
Looks like NARI it might be getting going here. Looks like it. It's almost at that high from the intraday.
AGBA trying to reclaim its VWAP.
Nice, Jay Wild.
Pally out at 9. Awesome job. Register ring. Jay's getting it done. You love to see it. You love to see it.
That was a pretty near top tick, too. That was great.
Yeah. IMCC, that was one of the pot names from the list here this morning. That's pushing here, according to Brett. Yeah, that's trying to close its distance to VWAP. AMD, you guys were right on this. This is a pretty good call. How's SMCI doing after its earnings here? Not as strong as AMD. Interesting. How's NVIDIA holding up here? NVIDIA also trying to curl, by the way.
NARI, that one popped and broke, and we got new intraday highs now.
This thing spread like crazy, though.
Yeah, it might end up going higher as a result of that and then coming right back in. So be careful with this one. Have your profit-taking targets set, in my opinion. Good
old cattle moving around. I like that. Cattle actually up to the yesterday. Oh, we took out yesterday's intraday highs. Cattle's this looking decent. Next spot I have here, CADL 805. And that is not far away from where we're at. That's good mention there, Sally.
NARI worked out great. Pfizer doing that was really great with Pfizer. That was pretty right on. I like
Watch
that.
WISA trying to take out yesterday's intraday high here. I've got that at 592.
Still seeing CTMX trying to push up towards VWAP. If it takes out VWAP, there might be a trade up to 350 here. So just something to put in the back of your head.
ACB trying to curl back up to VWAP. We're getting to mention that TGTX is pulling. That's coming off here. I wouldn't have chased this one anyway. I'd wait for this to kind of set up. I like the company and the stock, but I'd wait for that to set up.
Just cycling through.
NVAX. I don't really see a buy here.
Oh, wow. WISA. What a pop there. To 589.
Yeah, I think those intraday highs are on deck here for WISA.
I have $6 as the next upside target. We actually got as high as 595 yesterday, so we might see
595. Okay, yeah,
we might see some pullback there before 6, but both could happen. Cool. So Pfizer got as high as 26.97, so just 3 cents away from that pre-market high of 27 flat. So that was good. Now, if we start to come back in here, I'll be looking to see if we can get some support. Maybe a little bit later on, get some support, probably down around 26.40, and then hopefully we can see it come back up to 27 and take it out that next visit up. So that'll be what something I'm watching for with Pfizer. Come back in, consolidate maybe a little bit, return to 27 and try to take it out. There is actually a pretty large sell wall there as well.
3M here. This is up after yesterday. So we had earnings yesterday. We kind of came back in. It really kind of just chopped around here. This, I'm wondering, we talked about this as a potential, kind of swing to the short side. I'm definitely looking at puts here. Looks like it's kind of stopping. I'm going to watch this throughout the course of the day. Not necessarily going to take this ahead of Powell, but I'm going to keep this on my watch list here for a potential swing short. I'll update you guys if I do end up taking it. I would use options in order to do that. I wouldn't actually short the equity itself.
Sal Fraga, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, I hope I am. Great job on PFE. I'm glad you hit your target. Bring that register, Ryan. We got to bring this register.
You got it. Sal earned it. Sal earned it. He'll get it. Sal, great stuff. We'd love to see this. We love to see this stuff, especially early on in the day. Your day is done, bro. Go play some golf.
CTMX is interesting. There's a huge wall of sellers at 3, but it really does look like it wants to take that out. So I'm kind of watching to see if that happens.
And look, so really quickly here. So as you remember, I was actually stopped out on this already. They had a bigger order at 3 earlier, and they took it. And they took it, and it came back in, and it looks like they're resetting. Maybe we should try this through that 3. Oh, they're taking it.
Wow. Or at least it did that, or it moved.
I took some right here.
Nice.
Let's see if they go to 305. More size there at 305. More at 310. We'll see if these get taken.
It'll be VWAP here that they break through.
I'm gonna have a tight leash on this one here.
No, Wisdom. I didn't lose a bet. I just needed to. It was starting to look like a bushman's bush.
Whoa. Here's 305. They're hitting it. Let's see it go. There it goes. Let's see if they pop it above here. 305. Great alert, by the way, 13 on this one. Retaking
Tasty.
3. 310, 311 has some more size up here. Hopefully we can keep moving up there. I didn't get the pop that I was hoping for. Did get the movement that I was hoping for, but not that pop. We want to see this go up to 310. Let's see if that size at 310 gets hit at all. See if CTMX has the gumption to do that here.
Remember, it's got 67 million shares in the float. Not as easy to move around as some of these other ones. But it's still having some pretty good price action. 310, there's another wall there, and 320. Yep. So basically every 10 cents, you're going to have to run into these areas where there's a lot of people selling. So just keep that in mind.
And they're actually refreshing 305 here, by the way. Totally refreshing 305. I want to see now if they refresh 3, if we break beneath it. If they take this 5 right here after they loaded more stock in, I think this thing goes to 310. We'll see.
Thank you, Danielle, for the mention. Pally is halted. So that one is halted to the downside. We got as high as, it looks like 910, and then came right back in over the next past 10 minutes. So that's that. Pfizer, after getting up close to 27, we're coming back in a little bit. Still looking to see if we can get down to, I guess, somewhere between. I'm
closing CTMX right now. They're loading up more stock. They keep refreshing this 305. Let's see if we end up getting through that. I might still try and play this to the upside, but I want to scratch back some of the money that I lost on the first stop out. It was a small stop out. This was kind of a small scalp to the upside, just a couple of pennies, but I'm about flat now on it. Here we go. And now it goes to 310. Here we go. God bless it.
All you had to do was get out of it.
It was my own fault. It was my own fault. It was my own fault. Here, and there we go. They took 310, and here goes the run. This is the play that we wanted. I messed it up, but at least we're actually getting the move. Here we go. Big move here on CTMX. This is what we were waiting for the first time. Intraday high here, 332. Oh, man, that sucks.
350 pre-market high. At
least we got the move that we were looking for, though.
Yeah.
At least we got the move that we were looking for. Not going to buy it. We're going to wait for this to come back in. Oh, it was in there. Here we go. Even higher. This would have been such a winner. Damn it. That's the way the cookie crumbles, though.
It is. So now we just got to look for the next trade.
Here we go. So here we go. Next level coming right here. 351 is what I've got. I've got size there at 350 CTMX. Watch for a pullback here. We'll see. That curl was great though on CTM. Man, that moved through the view. Here's a little pull there. We'll see if they hit that 350. Yeah, green is good, but this is the action we were looking for, Brett. That's the whole thing. Like the whole deal with these scalps is that hopefully some of the scalps turn into runners. And I know this is only, 40 cents that we were talking about. But still, that was a much bigger move than the handful of pennies that I ended up getting it for. So hopefully some of you folks are banking off this week. This is the exact move that we want. I would have sold into that first pop, by the way. I'm just glad it worked out.
Yeah. I mean, it was a really good setup too.
And by the way, we talked about there being size at 350. Well, guess what? They're actually loading more of that size, and they just loaded some in at 340 to push it down. They had already loaded some in at 345. They're going back and forth in this. This is an active battle going on, CTMX. Glenn says it's going to 381. Boom. We'll see.
Thanks, Bob, for mentioning IMCC retesting the highs. It looks like right now it's already printed the highest intraday high that it can, but it still has to get through some consolidation from the pre-market. The pre-market high is 150. Thanks for mentioning that. I think we could see that trade up there. Now, I will mention that there is a pretty good number of sell orders between here and 150, especially at 130. There's a large amount, so there might be some difficulty getting up to that point, but the fact that it has 10.5 million shares in the float makes me think that we might be able to chew through that at some capacity once we visit that level.
125, 130, the spots to pay attention to here on IMCC, in my opinion. Quantum mentioning that the markets are going down. We are rolling over here on the SPY ahead of the Fed. Wisdom saying, Ryan, did you say pot or pop? Wisdom, come on, man. I said pop. It's not time to smoke. It's time to actually make some money. CTMX at 350 here. Looks like they did hit it and it backed off that spot. Again, I'd be trimming some of that position or booking. Sorry, 13.
No worries. NARI, that one, the volume needs to expand a little bit, but it looks like it wants to try to take out that 44.88 high that it put in about 10 minutes ago. So watch for that.
Register ring for you. Nice trade on CTMX. Oh, nice. This is the exact movement we were trying to flag with these orders. I'm so glad that you hit it. Bank that, dude. Happy Wednesday. 350 up now. Let's see what happens here on CTMX. Does not have the strength to go through it yet. They're actually loading offers above it as well.
NYCB it looks like it's curling both on the MACD and the price action.
Another pop. This one up to 380 where there's more size. You were talking about every 10 cents on CTMX. That is absolutely holding up here, 13. There through 380. This has got the juice now. Scott, let's go.
All right. I
would say on
further left.
Sorry. I would say on this push, if you guys haven't already, this is probably the all-out stage, or at least trim again.
Trim, raise stops, do whatever you can to minimize the losses or the lack of gains.
Yep.
Just, put those things in place. Get that money.
What I was just saying, you hope some of these scalps turn into a runner. You got it on CTMX. That's exactly what we were looking. And Glenn, it actually went to 390. It did go to your 381, one up for that. It did go to 390, your intraday high. Glenn, great job.
Okay. Just had to place some other levels here in CTMX because it had already blown through all the ones I said in pre-market. So now
I'm gonna give you a visual aid here. Well, let's see. I don't think that.
Let's say
I don't think I have enough data. Interesting. So Glenn is saying it's the 200-week moving average. I don't seem to have enough data on the chart for that one. Interesting. We have a weekly in here. Let's see. Yeah, see, it's not even drawing my weekly lines, but nonetheless, good trade there.
I see it in on my chart, CTMX. Yeah, we're right up against the 200-week moving average.
That's where Glenn got his level from.
Let's look at some longer time frames. Guess what? If you look at the monthly, we have the 50-month moving average coming in at 408.
So 408 could be your next target. If 390 breaks here, there's a big offer here on 390. They're hitting it. Oh, no, they're not.
Well, They're trying.
They're trying. They did take some there. I did see some prints there. Yep. Oh, yeah, folks, we're doing it here this morning, folks. Yeah. This is awesome.
Great call on using a longer time frame. Sometimes
Yeah.
those moving averages do come into play as resistance levels. Absolutely.
And you guys, this is really like, you guys are seeing like the power of what we're trying to do here. You guys have created literally the best trading community on the internet, and now you're out here absolutely executing. CTMX coming up to this 390 spot. Look out for that.
Pfizer really coming back into VWAPs. So that was a pretty good move up to 27 and then coming back in. Now, this is what I was referring to about waiting for it to come back in and maybe finding some support as low as 2640. So right about where it is now, where the VWAP is now, it would be a good spot for this to start consolidating, maybe turning around. MACD isn't really indicating to me that it's time yet.
Which ticker? Sorry.
This is Pfizer, PFE. But this looks like we could, if we hold between 2640 and VWAP, that there should be some recovery and another test of 27.
I think we're expecting the JOLTS data pretty soon here. SPY at the 500 level. Let's see if we lose 500 here. Jay Rice, really good stuff here on Nari, by the way. We talked about that. That took that another leg up there. Similar biz as SWAV. I'm not actually, am I familiar with that? I don't even know what company this one is here. Shockwave Medical, okay, which was bought by J&J. I like the name long term. I think it goes higher. Jay, do you think Nari is also a potential merger and acquisition candidate? Do you think that it could possibly be taken out here? CTMX backing off that 390 spot.
I think
Seahorse Trading mentioning that was a healthy pullback. I would agree. If you take a look at the chart here, we basically just retraced the candle. We're back up to the highs.
I think it's trying to take out 390 right now.
I think you're right. It's creeping back up there. Jay says, yes, this is a potential target. So I like that long term. I like that, Jay. I like that.
Well, there's a fight here for 390.
We'll see if that 390 falls here.
This keeps getting built up a little bit bigger, but we'll see. It might be a little bit early too. But I still think we're going to be wanting to watch 390 in this one.
All right, so I'm going to give you some JOLTS data here. JOLTS job openings for March, 8.48 million versus the 8.68 estimate. That number a little soft. ISM manufacturing prices for April, 60.9 versus the 55.5 estimate. A little hot on that number. ISM manufacturing PMI for April, 49.2 versus the 50 estimate. So a little all over the boards there. The JOLTS, was that the one that you cared about? Or I guess maybe it's the jobs tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one you're paying attention to anyway.
I think that one's the most important one when it comes to jobs. You have Challenger report, you have JOLTS. Those are different sections of employment. It's not necessarily encompasses more of a broader data set, but I still think they carry their own weight. It's just not as much as the BLS report.
Mm-hmm. Root, look at this thing. You would talk about volatility. Root sold all the way off towards 70, currently at 83, got back almost all of what it gave up right out of the open here. Man, oh man.
NYCB still in the process of curling. We could see a recovery and another test of the pre-market high of 339. CTMX is still trying to hold this 365-ish level, trying to get back above the 390. We'll see if that happens. Did you have something you wanted to get out there?
No, I wasn't. You didn't run me over or anything. I'm still looking around, but
Nari,
no, we're good.
Nari trying to push for new highs. If it's over 45 now, it looks like it's kind of just stopped trading, but it's not halted. Okay. I think it's worth watching CTMX for another test of 390 here. I think it really wants to capture that, and it's holding up pretty well. But we'll have to wait and see. I think
CTMX. I saw some Delta calls come across the unusual options here.
Yeah, Jay Rice, he's definitely going to be moving things. I think the market might end up drowning in Lake Powell, like Ryan said.
Yep, that's what we're waiting for here.
All right, CTMX, here we go with another test of 390. It looks like it's trying to get up there right now, or at least pushing towards it.
385 has some size ahead of that number.
Yep, they're really starting to pile into this thing. So it's either going to get completely taken out and it's going to shoot high, or there's going to be enough sellers here that the buyers get tired and to say, forget this.
MNDR third halt down. Well, that might be over there. Oh my God. MNDR cut in half today. Take gains when you get them. Nice trade getting out of that before it got absolutely slapped, Bex.
All right. Still waiting for Pfizer to find a bottom off this this last push up that it had. IMCC just sideways all morning. I'm not sure what this one's going to do for the rest of the day, but it's been trading between the 200 EMA and VWAP pretty much all morning. That's on the 5-minute, by the way. Didn't get that move over 325 in NYCB. I think maybe a little bit lower than that, but 325 seems like the level that NYCB wants to try to move above in order to go after the pre-market high of 339.
This one doing a good job staying above its VWAP all day here so far. LMND, this is Lemonade. They reported earnings yesterday. Popped in the after hours, really kind of gave that up, although it's not breaking down. Thought that this one might run today. No go so far.
Yeah, Nicholas Lavelle, I think that's great. He's saying that to Lynn Williams, no losses is a win too. Yeah, it's SATs up in here. You know, if you don't make any trades and you don't lose any money, well, I still consider that a win, especially in a day where the market's absolutely getting hammered. So if you do have good trades, that's a win. If you don't have any bad trades, I think that's a win too.
Jay Wild mentioning SYT. This opened up out of a halt. This thing much higher here. Big volume. ARDX. Glenn, where's ARDX going, Glenn? Your last call was spot on. We'll see on ARDX. This is actually a nice pop away from the VWAP, though, all jokes aside.
Wow. CTMX just blasted right through that 390 level.
And then yanked. Yep.
Wow. That was the move. So for me, CTMX, I think it's time for it to reset, or maybe it's done.
CTMX.
Yeah. So
I see CTNX getting mentioned in the chat there. That is the wrong ticker, guys. CTMX.
They're next to each other on the keyboard.
Yep,
I know. Spin at that finger.
I know.
I've done that too.
Just correcting it. I don't want anyone not getting.
Oh, Ryan, you're being too mean.
I know. It's a big problem that I have. TMDX.
Yeah, that was that CTMX. That was the move.
Wasn't Jay trading Snap? Someone in here was trading Snap. This pushing higher here. And Speaks Trader, indeed.
Here we go with NYCB. We're starting to see some more upside here. Still got to get above that 325, I think. There's so many sell orders right between here and 330. Somebody doesn't want this thing going higher, but I think it might.
Pally is slowing down here on this down move. We'll see if it firms up here. I'm not. I'll wait for that. I'll wait that out.
For Pally, I would say somewhere between 7 and 680, we find a bottom.
Yeah, Jay, you're long Snap there. That's good stuff there on Snap. This looks like it's going higher here with this break.
Yeah, I did not expect to have as many options on the table to trade today as we are.
Yeah,
getting.
I didn't either.
This is pretty good.
I didn't either. VKTX, by the way, we talked about this one here. This I did take on a call sweep. There were a huge 100 call sweep for May, right? So this month, only 16, 17 days. What's the kind of contract? 16 more days. Up like 60% on this contract here. VKTX, this actually looks like this is going higher than 80. We've had some really good luck with trading this one before.
Robert
CTMX is done.
I'm thinking it could be too. I mean, that move through 390 and then that immediate pullback, that looked like it could have been the move for now. I'm not saying that the day is over for it, but it might be. So, but at least for now, I think that was the move. We're probably going to have to see it come back in to 350, where remember we had that big size there previously. So that's going to be a support level now. And if that doesn't hold, then there's VWAP, and then of course $3 and everything else beneath it. So. I think that you're right, though. It's probably done for now.
SMCI continuing to come in here. SMCI, this had earnings yesterday, initially went higher, totally reversed them, and now has taken several more legs down. one in the after-hour session yesterday, and then right out of the open here today. SMCI, no bottom yet. We'll see how many other stocks this affects. $723 here in SMCI. You know, we were talking about this last night on Happy Hour. We could see the stock going to $300. I know that seems crazy where it is right now. The stock could go to $300.
Yeah, we were talking about a lot of these things that have had these super long runs that have these super high PE ratios. They're getting cut in half, and they probably could get cut in half again after that.
Indeed. Good morning, Kalu. It's great to see you. I hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday, boss.
Just worth mentioning that CTMX is still holding above the 365 level. So, you know, I know I've said that I think it's done for now. Sometimes that doesn't take shape. I'm not saying that it's coming back, but it's still holding above that level. So I wanted to point that out.
Meta, if we take a look here at Meta, this is actually trying to trade up. This looks like this wants to kind of move lower, though.
POAI got up to close to VWAP, and over the past 15 minutes, it's been just kind of giving all that back. The low that we had intraday for POAI was 147. Looks to me like we could take that out on the way down here if we continue with the selling. 140 is the next support level I have.
Here's my Meta chart. If you take a look at the daily, I just had it on a weekly, but if you have a look at the daily, it looks like we like popped into this. It sure looks like it wants to give this up. Look out for a break of 420. Wisdom.
I was talking about this yesterday because I don't think I've seen too many large cap chart formations like this, where you literally have this little island that's trading within the gap that was created by the first big island. Have you ever seen something like that?
Not often, no. And full disclosure here, we talk a lot about my floating island formation. It worked here, right? Look, it Meta pop. If we look back to February of 2024, Meta popped, back tested that range, and then moved higher. This is the floating island formation playing out. Now we have that to the downside here, but remember, this is when you do this to the downside, it is not the same, folks. It is not the same, because the downside has price levels in that area from before. This really works when it pops to all-time highs. So it'll be interesting to see what this does here. To my eye, 13, it looks like this could roll over, honestly.
It does look like, I think that if you kind of imagine what the pre-market was like on the 25th of April, you would see, or even after the after hours the day before, when I think they had earnings, you'd see a big red candle dropping down. And this would be more of a bear pennant formation that we're seeing here. So I do think you're right that we could see some more downside here. Now, we'll say that the interesting thing about where this is at right now, in between this, in the middle of this gap, we have gap fill to the upside and downside. So whichever way it goes, there's a pretty significant move that could happen with either direction it chooses.
Yeah. Jay here saying Meta to 400 would be better. I agree. Jay Wright's mentioning Reddit is moving off on the back of that snap move here. Reddit, nothing but green candles, it seems, here today.
CTMX not done, trying to take 4 again.
Going back up to that level there, just took 390.
Yeah, it was holding that 365. I pointed that out a few minutes ago. I still think that we might see some.
There's 4.
Yeah, I still think that this might come back in here, but like I said, I don't know. It can do whatever it wants at this point. I still think it needs to come back in.
SMCI continuing to bleed and move lower here. Tesla, big reversal on Tesla. Wow, missed that one.
New highs in NARI. So that one working out really well. PALI, we just started, well, not just started, but for the past 4 minutes, we were printing this higher candle than the one before it, which touched or barely touched the 65 EMA on the 5-minute. This might be curling here, so keep an eye on PALI for return to VWAP. IMCC, sorry.
I was going to say, keep an eye on the market here. SPY flirting with 500. NASDAQ looked like it wants to roll over here. And some of those text and chip stocks that we've been talking about look really weak here today.
Yeah, IMCC trying to push through VWAP and a 65 EMA on the 5-minute.
CTMX halted to the upside, 468. G-bus. Nicholas, you're absolutely right. Big move here. CTMX, guys, we hooked the winner early on. hooked the winner early on here. Great stuff.
Well, I mean, I was saying that I thought this was done, and that was not correct, but it did hold that 365. So at least I kind of hedged myself there with that, but I did not expect this big move. Well, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of levels to go through here on the upside. So I don't know if it's going to hit them all, but I could, if you look to the left, you can see that this thing goes much, much higher in the past. Let's see, back in 22, we're talking like $4, $5, $6, $7, $8. This thing was much higher back then. So could definitely trade up to there on irrational volume. But at some point, this is going to come right back down. Sorry.
No, it's all right. I was just looking around here at some other names. It seems to me that we're on the names that are moving here. We'll check back in on CTMX after that halt. Rustam,
Robert,
it's all about timing, dude. Rustam, you're going to get a register ring today. Make sure you do close that for a gain, though. SMCI lower here, 720 about to give.
IMCC really trying to make a push here. It's just got to get through so much pre-market consolidation. I'm not sure it's going to happen, but I've been wrong already once today, so
won't be the last time.
Yeah, it won't be the last time either. Just don't stay wrong, right? Still waiting to see if NYCB can continue this. It's making its way up to that 339 area, though.
SMCI break just lost that 720, 716 the low print. Look out below SMCI.
Okay. We're starting to get some breakdown of PFE here. If this continues, then the next support level that I would imagine we see some the slowdown of this downside would be about $26, 26, 26.10-ish. Let's see if CTMX, when it unhalts, if this blasts off higher or if we get a knife.
How much time do we have on that one? I can go to that. CTMX.
I don't know, but TGTX, that one is coming down with a 65 EMA on the 5-minute, where it actually got support and rebounded earlier this morning. The second visit down here, I'm not so sure we're going to see the same kind of price action.
IMCC might go higher here. Pinterest did break out of the sideways formation, Sally. Next spot here on Pinterest, I've got at 41.5.
Well, looks like it's just a matter of just waiting for some of these to pan out here. What else are we looking at, folks? Oh,
sorry, I'm just handling something here real quick.
Sorry about that, Voodoo. NYCB, I know I keep mentioning it, but it just, I think the volume needs to expand a little bit more, or else we're just going to go up to 339 and then just get rejected. Did we get? No, it's still closed.
SMCI bounced here, so we've bounced 12 points off that 716 low. The first time I've seen the buyers step in for that one.
Yeah, we had an after hours low of 720 and 10 cents.
Look at Snap.
Just
sorry.
So that was a good that level right there from in the after hours. I think that's what some of these algos are looking at for a reversal. Well, it looks like it's actually taking that right now, going higher. We got as low as 716.44 on SMCI, and it looks like it's trying to recover now. VWAP I have is at 743.19.
Carmen's saying I was looking for 690 to 650 on SMCI. You might get that.
All the things that I've been looking at to try to go higher, they look like they're really weakening right now. Let me take a look at something here.
CTMX open and through 5 here, 565. Oh my God.
Woo,
CTMX.
this is crazy.
If you guys didn't lighten into that move, I don't know what to tell you. High print here, 560 on CTMX, 560 and through.
It'll probably halt again.
It's going to halt right here if this holds. Wow. Well, so we identified the right stock, but I did not catch the ripper. Damn. This thing, an absolute monster.
Nope, still going. Still going.
Didn't hold it there. They didn't hold it. It did not halt.
Yeah, and it was looking like it was going to at 562 because
You might get a pullback now. Careful.
Yeah, we saw the price action just halted, and that's what we thought we were going to see the market halted. But
Rustam, good job raising your stop there. That's exactly how you should do it. Carmen, did you see the contrarian thesis on SMCI? Which one are you referring to? Throw it in the chat if you can. If you can't, I definitely want to take a look at it. But I'm not sure what you're referring to, Carmen.
Pally still trying to push up here. I still think we might be able to see VWAP, which I have at 839 on PALI. Still trying. Volume needs to expand and to get through it, but I think we still might be able to test it. If it can get past 826. IMCC still looks like it wants to get up above VWAP and run, but it's got so much overhead supply to chew through. It might be a little bit before that happens. Well, I think it might be just time to wait for things to set up. I'm aside from CTMX, nothing's really shown me the kind of volume that gets me as excited for trading it as this one is.
ACB Aurora Cannabis here curling maybe 684 is your VWAP. Rustam, you better drink that champagne. Enjoy it. John Williams, anything on gold? I don't have anything here today. We did take a look at Barrick Gold earlier here. This actually moved lower. I don't have any trade ideas. Help our guy John out here in the chat. Anyone that has maybe a trade idea or an active trade on gold, let John know what you're trading here. I don't have anything for you. I'm sorry, my man. I think CTMX might print 6 here.
Yeah, it's got a. Oh, maybe not. I don't know what to make of CTMX at this point. For if it's going to go higher, if it's going to,
Yeah, me either.
If it's going to be worth entering, but
IMCC moving here. IMCC moving. 135 is your next spot.
There
here.
we go. Finally with this one.
There it is.
Yeah, 135 has a big sell wall there.
And so ACB, this closing that gap now on that move as well.
So that means CGC is coming back as well. It's curling a bit. How about Tilray?
Tilray coming back to the VWAP as well.
CGC and Tilray look a little similar to each other, probably because are they bigger? Are they bigger names? I thought they were.
Which ones? Sorry,
Tilray and CGC compared to the other cannabis names.
I think Tilray is just a big name because of the one day it went to 300, and I think people just kind of remember it for that. I'm not sure about the actual company. CGC a little bit different.
Okay.
Robert saying that now that he's booked gains on CTMX, it can go higher. I feel that, Robert. I feel you on that one. We'll see on that.
Yeah, that's quite a move for a 67 million share float.
IBRX, this did actually retake the VWAP here. This is still kind of low volume. Glenn giving us the call there. 653 on CTMX. Glenn likes us another $1 higher here.
Is that like soon, or are we looking for more of a pullback first?
Jay joking around and saying he went all in HKD, but we know he did not. CGC. We'll see if it actually can move through the VWAP there. SMCI. Here's the thesis. Sorry about that, Carmen. Volume is very low compared to average. Money from 401k needs to be allocated. Growth story is still intact. Low float magnifies any action. Folks may buy the dip around the 321 lows. I could see that happening. We were supposed to get inflows in today, being the first of the month here. The market, at least so far, not really showing yet. I mean, maybe we're kind of just holding here on those inflows, but it's not moving higher here. NVIDIA, SMCI, all saying the same story. Interesting. Let's see where NVIDIA is. Yeah, all lower here. Interestingly, Apple's higher here. So I know this is, higher than where it closed yesterday, only up by like 0.3. This reports earnings tomorrow. So we'll see here. In fact, what are the earnings here tonight? Let me go back and check. I've got my chart here real handy. Here we go. Earnings tonight after the close. Qualcomm, Devon Energy, ticker DVN, Paycom, Carvana. Oh, we should take a look at Carvana. Etsy, Fastly, and Allstate.
Are you in good hands?
That's debatable.
All right.
It's debatable.
IMCC might try to take its next leg up here. It's trying to get through 130 and 135. Got about 120,000 shares in the way.
IMCC, this was good. This was good. When that was just kind of hovering there at the VWAP, oh, man.
Yeah, CTMX coming in a little bit. Let's see if we can hold 475 and then reverse. That would be a pretty good setup for a bull flag.
POAI trying to pop back to the VWAP here. POAI, this was one that we had from this morning. Fastly changing its name to slowly. Robert, you'll get that's a good one. That's a good one. Vic IPO, any opinions? Brett, good call here. Didn't we have NCLH report this morning? Norwegian Cruise Lines reporting this morning. They're lower, kind of a rough day for them to do that with the Fed and maybe another boat reporting and going lower here. As far as Viking goes, the actual product, I've never had any firsthand experience. I do have a friend that goes on many cruises who raves about how good Viking is. Me personally, sorry folks, they're the company that is a cruise with no kids. That's what I would choose. Yeah, I like it, but I don't know how the stock's going to perform. I am interested in the IPO. It priced last night, right? So it's due to open here today. It has not yet.
RTX that was mentioned earlier today.
Indeed,
that was consolidating all morning after a pop. Now it's broken out of that consolidation. Got to 148.
Rustam, this is your day today, bro. This is your day. It seems like everything that you have in your port going north.
Yeah, I think he's going to be praising his sources here, unless he's done all that work himself. And in which case, hell yeah, brother. NYCB looks like we're trying to push up through 322 to try to take out that 339 high in the pre-market. Spy guy going to try to move higher. Spy guy. Yeah, Spy. We just get a straight bounce up to 50. What's up?
I'm just looking around. I don't see any great entry here. I mean, POAI, I kind of want this because I think that this might move through its VWAP like some of the other ones.
I thought you were shushing me like something was about to happen. I was like, what?
Jacob Bear, our teammate here. Vikings are great. Clip it, skull. Oh, Jacob's always got the jokes, dude. Always got the jokes. That's a football joke for those that didn't get it.
Pally, right back down.
Things are slowing up a little bit,
They
I think.
certainly are.
Jane mentioned CMTX, but she meant CTMX.
Yeah, because it's still trying to.
It's holding in there.
still trying to find a bottom. I'm still looking at 475 as a potential bottom.
By the way, that SMCI pop that we talked about, yeah, that's been sold back. That's almost back to the lows here. SMCI. Maybe we break lower here on SMCI.
We're getting a mention with several different tickers. We got SYT, ARDX, and MFI.
ARDX, didn't this have earnings coming up here, Glenn? I think you mentioned this one earlier. Couldn't remember if this was an earnings play.
All right, let's see if CTMX, I mean, I'm not sure if this is where it's trying to reverse yet, but there's a bit of a push happening at the moment.
And remember, some of these bigger names that you folks are taking a look at, NVIDIA, SMCI, Apple, I don't know if you guys are trading Netflix or whatever, but some of these bigger names, they're likely things are going to change at 2 o'clock here when we get the Fed minutes. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, the market might just sell. That's a joke.
Yeah, I mean, it might, who knows?
Who knows? Yeah. Yeah, it looks like CTMX is trying again here.
It's trying, yeah. 540, the spot to get over here, CTMX.
Let's be careful with this one. It went up pretty fast. It could come down as fast too.
Jay Rice, from earlier here, this is kind of what we've been waiting for on SMCI. The Momo has changed. No split. No guide higher. Don't forget, it's come a long way. Like I said, I could see a world where this stock trades down to 300. I know that might seem crazy where we're at right now, but as 13 mentioned earlier, we've seen plenty of these stocks. They start getting cut in half. Sometimes they get cut in half again from that, right? So we'll see on SMCI. I agree with you completely. The Mo has changed.
Hey, Wisdom, you have a great rest of your day, man.
Yeah, take care of yourself, dude.
Yeah,
CTMX coming in here, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like it's not finished.
If it breaks, I think that might. Watch for a knife here. I'll tell you what, though, the buying volume has been pretty crazy on this. You might be able to scalp a knife down here, just on a dead cat bounce play. If this really pulls, you might be able to scalp. It's dangerous, but that might materialize here.
Yeah, speaking of knives, IMCC.
Did it just knife?
Yeah, NYCB
right to the VWAP, crashed all the way to the VWAP.
NYCB looking pretty good though. Looking pretty good, NYCB. Doesn't seem like CTMX is quite finished yet. Still trying to push back up there. Just putting in a sideways candle with the last one.
IMCC, I guess this is a potential bounce spot, especially if it clears 122 out. 122 has some size there.
All right.
SMCI, it looks like we're going to retest those intraday lows at 716.44. CTMX, not breaking down yet. That 540 area, I got size here, 530, 535, and that 540 that we talked about.
Yeah, looking like it could make
it's
that
flagging
move.
Here. It's flagging here.
I still want to see this NYCB break over 339, and we're very close.
AMD breaking out? Not really, dude. Quantum, I don't know. This is just kind of trading sideways here.
If you see something like that, let us know of the time frame so that we can see what you're looking at, because it might be more noticeable on a lower time frame than a longer one, that like some of the ones we're using.
New lows, SMCI, folks. New lows. That bounce did not last.
Yeah, I think it's just CTMX and NYCB right now that have the best setups.
Looks like we might be entering the holding pattern here on waiting for the Fed.
Well, that's fine. Give me some time to figure out what I want to do next. Okay, so NYCB not quite making its way through 339 yet. CTMX still right there where we last left it. POAI trying to curl back and go to VWAP again for another test. And that's about all I really see at the moment.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot here either, dude.
The Crow mentioning ZVSA is on the move. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, it is. So let's see what. Oh, this is still moving right now. So let's see what we get when we reach 595. That was where we kind of topped out at following the morning drop. We recovered and it got as high as 595 before we just kind of went sideways into the close. So that would be my next level for ZVSA. CTMX. I'm telling you, it's still holding in there. Just be careful with this one. It might look good, and then it says, "Gotcha."
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
We've all been there, dude. We've all been there.
Yeah, NYCB. I still am looking for what's going to happen at 339. Are we going to break out over this level, or are we just going to come right back in to VWAP? SYT should resume soon. I did not know that was halted. Let's take a look at it. Oh, okay. I see why. This isn't the first halt in this one, is it? It looks like it's been halted before, SYT.
Yeah, I think there were. Let me check Pro. Okay. SYT has had 3 halts today.
Gotcha.
How easy it is to get that information out of Benzinga Pro. Shout out. Bug life. All right. I don't know why that was in my head.
CTMX. This might be there it is.
Did it go higher here?
It just popped.
It did. Broke out of that 540. That was the spot. We had it. Now it's going for those highs. Oh, look
well,
at that.
I mean, yeah, this is probably gonna have to be the be careful moment here. But it did get that break. Now let's take a look at NYCB. Hey, guess what? NYCB, new highs through that 339 and higher now. Now this is where I would be like, okay, well, that move happened. Still see a lot of sell orders between here and 360. So
look at this candle, dude. It's wild. 485 to 571, the same 3-minute window there. Good stuff.
Yeah, but NYCB, that was the other one that was looking good. So CTMX, we got what we wanted. NYCB pretty much got what we wanted. We're getting a little bit more. I don't see any other setups at the moment. So I think that would be a hand sitting on moment now at this point, I think. Looks like TGTX is about to break down. It's at the 65 EMA on the 5-minute. Did CTMX really do you dirty? It's still kind of right about there. It's actually getting close to that level I was talking about earlier, at 440 or 475. Not saying it's going to reverse here. It looks like it's probably going to start breaking down, but yeah, we'll see. CTMX has proved me wrong once already today. So NYCB 345, trying to print higher. I don't have levels in this one. Let me put those in, get an idea of where we're going to see this go to.
Smash the like and hit that subscribe button. Help us out here. We're going to keep trading, and I actually have a bit of a surprise for you, real quick.
I like surprises,
especially good ones, right?
Mm-hmm. Well,
especially good surprises. I got a surprise for every. Nobody does. All right, guess what? We are staying on for an extra 15 minutes here today.
All right.
So we are going to 11:15 here. Smash up that like and hit the subscribe button. Help us out. Help the algorithm out. Help enhance our community by bringing in more sharp traders to our sphere of influence. That's exactly what we want to do here. NYCB, we'll take a look at that. CMTX, this looks like this is going to kind of break down. We want that to really kind of firm up here. NYCB, you've been on this one, 13. Was Richard trading this one too here today?
I don't know.
Stay focused. Good morning.
Yeah,
How
good
are
morning,
you?
Stay
What
Focused.
are you trading here today? Stay focused. Sorry, I ran you over there, 13.
I was just saying good morning to him as well. But no, the only thing with NYCB is that it had a pretty, good looking chart. I was talking about that level that in pre-market needed to break all morning. After that initial drop out of the gate, that was where we, I was looking for a 65 EMA, never got down there, but that was that drop out of the gate was the one to be bought because, man, you got a whole huge 50-cent move just slowly this morning off of that. That would have been a nice trade there, but it broke the level we were looking for, so that's good with NYCB. Now with CTMX, ooh, looking ugly. Looking like this one might actually now be done, but let's see if we can still get back to the VWAP. MACD indicates that it might be heading that direction. So 390 downside target that I think we're headed towards.
Yeah, looks rough here. Stay focused, saying smashing the like for you guys. Appreciate that, my man. Make trading great again. Dude, our community, I'll say this, our community makes it great every single day. We make it great every single day. CTMX, this is what we were on here today. This thing just an absolute rager. Go ahead.
Were you about to read
we were about to read
EWMs?
the same comment. It's fine. It's fine.
Go ahead. You can start if you want.
I was going to say the comment here, any thoughts on DJT? So we've actually been looking at this one. This is totally just a intraday Mo play, not something that we advise anybody hold overnight for any reason. If you have a reason for that, giddy up. But this is something that is Mo every single day. I'll tell you what, volume tells the story here, and a quick glance at the volume chart shows that we have been under selling pressure all day today. The price chart confirms that. So what I would like here on DJT, I'd wait for those days where you have some clear upside momentum. We actually just finished with a couple of them. Yesterday was kind of not great. The day before had a nice little run out of the gate. Did a great job holding it too. Used the VWAP as support. Now it looks like VWAP's going to act as resistance. We'll see what happens if we get through it. Do you have any levels here on DJT?
I think the most important level in this is the $45 price. I think that I don't need to explain why, but
no, and we're right. We're right above that. By the way, here real quick, EWM community, you have this awesome little effect where your EWM looks like it's like blurry almost, like it's moving around there because you've doubled up on some of the lines. Stylistically, I think that's really cool. Shout out to you. Welcome, by the way.
Yeah, you're messing with his eyes. I like to see that.
No, it's cool. Jane Smith, smash up the like for this comment. Best group around. I'm glad I found this. We're glad you're here too, Jane. Absolutely. We're glad everyone is here.
Just a little bit more on DJT. I would just, kind of put that $45 level in and just kind of look at some smaller time frames, see how the price has reacted around that level. It might give you a better idea of how to trade this. Some of the other levels that are really working out are from previous price action. So that's been very helpful too. Between, let's see, we got as high as 55. That was the level I had. And then 52.75, 50, 46.75, and then 45 have all been levels between that's been trading between here this morning. If we go lower, the next one is 43. And if we trade back up, well, it's going to be that 46.75 again that we have to get through. And then it would be VWAP and 50.
Pally might have bottomed out here. We'll see if Pally makes another move back to the VWAP. If you folks, I know we're kind of all waiting for the Fed here, but if you folks need something else to trade here, at least keep Pally on your list. This might get going in the afternoon here.
Man, SYT and ZVSA have just probably hurt a lot of traders over the past 10 minutes.
Big pulls.
Yeah, big pulls in some of these.
CTMX also continues to break down here.
Yeah, if this candle here. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I was just rolling through things. I wasn't saying anything. TMDX holding higher here.
It just looks like CTMX is trying to put in a candle right now, a support candle, and it's not looking great at the moment. We have about a minute left in this candle, so we'll see what happens. NYCB still putting in higher highs. or new highs. 353. The next upside target I have is 395. BRTX curling, says Rustem. You've been on that one. Let's take a look.
Yeah, he sure has.
Yeah. I like how the price action, it pulled back to where that the top of that consolidation was before this this green candle we have right here on the 5-minute chart. So 150, the level to break. I don't have previously set levels in this, but just from eyeing this, 178 appears to be an after hours level or a pre-market level. Can't really tell from yesterday or the day before. There is some pretty good consolidation from about 150 to 160. So that's probably why we're getting rejected there. But look at the volume to come in and push through all that. I think 178 is the next level to watch for in this one, BRTX.
Real quick here, Root. This is looking like it's trying to go higher here, Crow. Let me know if you're in Root. Thanks for the comment there, Lynn. Really appreciate that. We'll give you a 1-up. Danielle asking, do we know what time Viking Holdings will start? We do not. With those IPOs, I'm actually got CNBC on another screen here. Looks like the indication is between $26 and $28. They're at the post right now. Stock not open, though. Awaiting the first trade here. I think it's probably imminent. Normally, these IPOs are released between 10 and 12 in the morning, Eastern time. Currently 10:45, so we're right about at the middle of that. I would expect Viking here in the next 30 minutes to open up. We'll see, though. It all depends on the open outcry process, I believe, when they're doing an IPO there.
Rough day to be IPOing, in my opinion.
That's what I said earlier. I'm with you, 13. It's not good. Norwegian's down on their earnings here this morning, and now we got the Fed right around when you're going to open. Oh, man.
Getting asked if BRTX looks like a 167 level as well. Let me see here. There might be something that you're seeing that I'm just not. It could be, because like if you look at the let's see, that was today. So yesterday's pre-market, that was that area that you're talking about was kind of where we had some rejection. So it's possible. I won't say no. I'd say it's entirely possible based on that previous price action. That usually kind of gives us a roadmap of where the current price will go. So maybe.
Apple here at the highs today. Remember, this dropped off with the market yesterday into the close, but Apple, amongst the tech stocks, one of the stronger names. Remember, Apple reports tomorrow. Anyone have a trade plan on Apple for earnings?
Well,
just curious.
I got part of my fill on Apple when it dropped down to 165. I'm going to be adding, Apple on weakness for a while. I just was 165 was just where I started. I want to see it get to 160 and lower. I really do want to see weakness in Apple so I can enter the position in a meaningful way, the way I'd like to.
Yeah, load up on it while it's discounted. That makes a lot of sense to me. I'll tell you what, you get a good enough price on Apple, you never have to sell it. That's kind of the case that I'm in. I'm in a point now where I'm just trading around my core position. And a lot of times I use options to do that.
There you go. And looks, we got the mention here from Thinking About It, PFE recovering. And it had a nice green candle there all the way up to my VWAP. Let's see what happens here. Hey, no problem, UWM. I'm glad you got some value out of this.
Glad you like it. Glad to see you around. Sally saying we need to collectively manifest dovish thoughts around 2 p.m. Tell you what, I think we stay focused. Shout out to him if he's still here. He asked me yesterday, wait, what do you think is going to happen if the Fed is not dovish? Now, I took that to mean hawkish, but not dovish could mean neutral or hawkish, now that I think about it. First of all, I think if they are dovish, I think we see tech move up, right? I think we see a lot of these names move up. What do you think will happen if the Fed raises a bit? Okay, so this is a new question here, and this is one I really like. 13, I'm going to go here first with this. What do I think will happen if the Fed raises a bit? I don't think the market is prepared for that. And as a result, I think that there would be some initial shock and you'd see some trading down. Long term, though, I actually don't think this would be bad at all. I think that this would probably help get inflation more under control. You could make the case for needing to raise rates anyway. Maybe it does break something. I don't know. I would be in favor of this. Just saying.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the other side of that. I think that raising rates is going to just cause more problems, and I think that would be a mistake. I think because right now the Fed's in a very, very difficult spot. You know, they have signs that stagflation may be on the horizon. Yep. They have certain parts of inflation that have come down meaningfully, while other parts are just absolutely raging right now, like transportation and shelter. It might take longer for those to come down with the current rates where they are raising them. I don't necessarily know that it'll make it come down faster. It might, but you know, I'm not sure that that's what we want to do in this environment. I think what we're going to see from the Fed is just a lot more of the same speak. He's just going to reiterate the same things that he's been talking about for the past several meetings. He'll probably just kind of make kind of be neutral. I think he's going to end up being neutral because they don't really know what they want to do quite yet. I think that because they're still seeing some inflationary pressures ease and some still raging, that there's going to be kind of like this. Let's just wait and see what the data says. But I think they still want to see that unemployment drop a little bit before they make another decision.
Real quick here, Curtis was saying here, raise in an election year, most likely not. And I agree. I think what they should do is raise, but I think Curtis is right here. I don't think they do that in the election year. I know there's talk now about Trump wanting to replace the entire Fed board. Who knows on all that? I think as far as what the market actually needs, I think it could handle another raise. A sell-off, I don't really think would be bad, frankly. Just me.
Yeah, Purgatory Park. Yeah, they do talk about how they want to be data dependent, and that's kind of what they've been going on right now. So I think it's just going to. And here's a thing to consider: we still have, another PCE report that's coming up this month now. At the end, we have the jobs report for April, and we'll also get the jobs report for May ahead of that next FOMC meeting, and we'll also get some more CPI and GDP numbers. So there's still some reports to get through before. The next meeting occurs in the middle of June on the 12th, I believe.
All right.
I know. Here's a thing that Stay Focused was saying about you can raise now and lower in September. I don't know that would necessarily be good for the credibility of the Fed.
Yeah,
it's kind of whipsaw around like that.
We've talked about that quite a bit in Happy Hour. We've had a lot lengthier discussions, which is where that's coming from. And 13, I tend to agree with you on that. I know what Stay Focused is saying here. If you raise now and cut later, then you actually set the market up for an end of year run. I can see that, but I think that under the hood, you're probably running into.
Sorry, my printer's going.
I was like, oh gosh, Skynet. No, it's just your printer. Yeah, I see where you're coming from on that. I just think for the health of everything, let's get inflation under control first. Where do you guys host Happy Hour? Nicholas is asking. Happy Hour is a Zoom call that is meeting format, which means anyone can turn on their microphone or their camera. And it is only available for pro members. So one of the reasons or one of the ways that we keep this civil and don't have random internet trolls strolling in and disrupting our session is we make it for pro members only. So Nicholas, you have to be a pro member. If you're not a pro member, I got a little tip for you here. Go start a trial. It's free, and you still get access to the Happy Hour.
There's some real serious brain power in Happy Hour. I absolutely love attending and listening to some of these folks that have been in the market for much, much longer periods than I have, like by decades, to share their experiences and what they're seeing. You really do start to become a better investor and trader when you have really intelligent people surrounding yourself and telling you what their experiences are. It's great.
My strategy from day 113 has been to put smarter people than I. Oh, producer with the Benzinga. Thank you. Let's go, dude. That is awesome. Always surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. Raise the tide of everybody around you and never stop learning. Never stop looking for patterns, adding tools to your toolbox, the whole 9 yards. You never want to do that, or you never want to stop doing that. Excuse me.
Just real quick, NYCB got as high as a 363, and now we're finally putting in a red candle on the 5-minute after almost half an hour of just upside.
Mark's asking, how do pro users get on happy hour? Let's demonstrate that real quick. First of all, when the happy hour, like maybe 30 minutes before it starts, you will get a pop-up on your bottom banner. Now, I have my bottom banner turned off for the sake of screen real estate, but let's go ahead. I'll show you the option. You just need to make sure your info bar is on. Okay, if your info bar is on, down here, this little, let me close this, make it easier to see. This little bar down here will have a banner alerting you, hey, the happy hour starts at 4. Click on this to join. One of the other things that I will occasionally do if we're going through little hiccups, and I should mention this, the happy hour also has an accompanying chat in pro, and shout out to 13. While we're talking and while I'm hosting the meeting, 13 jots down notes on anything that we discuss and then posts a recap here in the happy hour. So the one thing about happy hour is that this is not a recorded show. We do not have a library where you can go back and watch them. You have to be there. You have to be there. So apologies to those of you that have 9-to-5 jobs that prohibit you from being there. I understand, but you have to get there. You have to be there for that. 13, though, has really taken this a step forward, posting recaps of everything so you can kind of go back just in case you missed them. I will occasionally post the link in this chat room as well.
STFU, BRTX was brought up by the chat here, so that's why I was mentioning it. I mean, you know, the price
that was
action,
an early one too, that BRTX.
Yeah. And you know, I agree that the price action hasn't been super great. I mean, since we opened, we've only moved up about 13 cents. So I get that, but you know, I've only been talking about it because it was brought up in the chat, and I was just mentioning the price action for trades. That's all. Still looks like Pfizer wants to try to get above VWAP. It had a nice bounce off the 65 EMA on the 5-minute. So let's see if we can break out of that and get back up to 27. Maybe take it out this time. We'll see.
See you guys at happy hour. Let's hold on to those shorts. Stay focused. We'll see you later, man. Have a great one.
Take care, man. PALI looking like it might be curling here. First stop would be back up to VWAP at 830. It's currently at 765.
Let's pull Pally up here.
I think TGTX goes lower.
I will say long term, I think TGTX is a $20+ stock. I think they have to do, there's a lot of stuff that needs to happen between now and then, and I could absolutely see it going lower here, but I think this is going to be a $20+ stock in the fairly, I don't want to say near future, but in the future.
Eventually, probably. But
eventually, yeah.
I you know, just for today only, especially with the price action that I'm seeing here, it looks like it's going lower.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Jay, I like this. I like this. Using some data that we have to make an inference about something else in the market. I love this. Apple, ticker AAPL. After seeing Skyworks, which is ticker SWKS, not sure if this isn't in trouble on earnings. It's got some double negatives in there. Jay, you think this might be in trouble. No growth, would rather put money elsewhere. So, Jay, it sounds like this is a no touch for earnings. You're not necessarily ready to short it into the print, but you're certainly not going long. And you think that your capital can be more effectively deployed somewhere else in the market based on what's going on there. We'll see if things change after that earnings print.
No, I think he might be right. It just depends on the time frame, in my opinion. I'm only getting into this because I want to see that weakness, and we've been getting that weakness for since the end of last year. But I didn't buy then. I want it to absolutely get hammered. So I'm happy. Hey, I'm totally fine with Apple getting hammered.
Thinking about it, what's that ticker again for Apple? Well, Apple's ticker is AAPL, but the other one that we mentioned in sympathy is Skyworks, SWKS. That's what going to be Sierra Whiskey Kilo Sierra.
Yeah, that's right, Jay. Right, they haven't.
Yep.
And I think a lot of it has to do with the situation with China's economy and them having to reconsider where they're getting their phones manufactured. So I think I think you're right, but this is the kind of thing that I like getting into when it's showing this weakness, because I get it at a discount. I think Apple will eventually turn around. It'll be a while, but when I get into these, when they're at their weakest, it's usually for a much longer time period, at least a year.
Good stuff there. Oh, that was a joke. Well, dude,
he got you good.
Yeah, he did. I got gotted. What can I say? What can I say? Carmen saying, Ryan, I'm thinking the same thing based on Starbucks. I mean, we talked about that last night, didn't we? Mm-hmm. That was a fresh conversation. Starbucks really struggling, not just in China, but in the US as well. I know they were having a discussion on the end of pre-market prep there. Didn't necessarily want to rehash this right away at the beginning of the show. But I'm with you. I agree with a lot of people. I don't like Starbucks, number one. I'm a coffee addict. That's the first thing that you should know. I don't really think Starbucks is all that great. I really think they over roast pretty much all of their beans. There's much better alternatives, especially if you're a Costco shopper. And I don't understand the going out to buy your coffee. I've been making coffee since I was like 15 years old. So there has to be an extenuating circumstance for me to go pay a premium $4 for a cup of coffee. I mean, forget it. I don't like that. I know that this has been a popular stock. I don't like Starbucks going forward. I really don't.
Yeah, I think that that weakness that we're seeing in Starbucks is a big read on the strength of the consumer in not just the United States, but particularly in China, where they've been trying to make this huge push to open these different stores and try to get a footing on that coffee market out there, and it has not materialized, particularly because of the employment situation out there in China. Things are really bad for that economy right now, and I think it shows in that report.
Yeah. Real quickly here, Michael Ryan, is the DOM 13? What's the DOM? DOM? What am I missing here? Is the DOM 13 is using a part of Benzinga Pro, or is it a broker he has? Do you know what he's asking? 13?
The DOM.
Yeah, what's the DOM? What on earth are you talking about, dude?
PFE pushing, by the way. My platform is I'm using Webull.
Yeah, Webull. We've mentioned that a number of times. Yeah, sorry.
I'm using that one. I use Benzinga Pro for
Is that
research
not a DOM on the left of his chart? Oh, dude.
My chart?
Dude, no. This is me, super DOM. Okay. Michael, you totally can. I got it again. I'm sharing the screen. 13 never shares his screen. So this is the trade the pool broker. And this DOM, this is what you're talking, the ladder. I don't call this a DOM. I don't know what DOM means. I think that's a stupid term, frankly. I call this a ladder. Maybe I'm the one that's incorrect here. But now that you mention it, and now that I know what you're talking about, this is the reason that I chose this is because this is very, very similar to what you see in Thinkorswim, which is the broker that I use. Now, 13, do you have any type of ladder type module in Webull? There you go.
It's literally called ladder in Webull, and in TradeStation, I believe it's called the matrix, like a trading matrix. Different brokers will have different names for what this module is, so it's just going to be different across the platforms. But yeah, it's essentially a ladder.
Let the DOM jokes fly. Document object model. That's not what it is. Get out the whips and chains. Damn, Carmen, that really escalated fast. Holy smokes. Yeah, I call it the ladder just because, I don't know, that's just what I thought. It is, STFU is correct. It is called Active Trader in Thinkorswim. That is what I use almost exclusively. I actually have 2 Active Trader order entries set up in my layout in Thinkorswim. And Michael, no problem. I'm sorry if I came off a little harsh. I was not trying to bust on you. I literally didn't know what you were referring to. Now I do, though. Won't make that mistake again.
Oh, so we're going to mention with SYT.
Depth
that
of
one,
market.
Yeah, we're getting mentioned with SYT after it had a huge pull over the past or over 20 minutes. It has just been rocketing over the past 10. So big moves in the past half hour of SYT. Yeah.
Michael, no worries, man. We get interrupted all the time on a whole number of different things. That's actually one of the things that separates our chat We want to interact with you guys. We want to hear. We want to answer questions. I literally was being ignorant. I didn't know what you meant.
BRTX got another pop, but it's only like, a few cents higher than where it was trading before. This thing, it has some decent upside, but the amount of, the movement isn't enough. Like we're only talking like 20 cents here in the entire movement of the entire day, from the open. It opened at what, 137. We're at 154, not even 20 cents. So it has some good trade opportunities in here if you put in the right amount of shares, but not a whole lot of range in this thing.
AGBA on the scanner. This back to VWAP here, AGBA.
Oh yeah, that was from yesterday or the day before, right?
This has been I feel like we've been on AGBA for several days here. This interesting though, if this can take out this VWAP, this can easily go higher. It
seems like it might be able to do that. It just needs that volume expansion. I think that's the one component missing here. But it looks like it really does want to take out VWAP though. Maybe that materializes over 15 or 30 minutes from here, but that looks like what it's setting up to do.
I've got the VWAP here at 311. There's a tiny bit of size there, but there's more at 314 and 315. So let's see if we can actually get through that area there.
And CTMX may be curling here. I'm not seeing that exactly from the MACD quite yet, but it did put in a pretty good looking bottoming candle here about 5 minutes ago. So we'll see if that's what's happening here. Yeah, TGTX still went lower, so I still think we could end up going under 15 with TGTX. PFE up, yeah, it had a nice recovery for sure. Let's see here. Yeah, we're still moving up. It's we're going back to that $27 target. See if we can take it out this trip up. Yep.
AGBA not quite strong enough to go through that VWAP.
Looks like IMCC is going to come down to $1. And NYCB, it appears like it might not be done yet, but I'm waiting for the MACD to tell me that it is. It might be getting there, so we'll see.
Pally's just still kind of hanging in here. We want Pally to really kind of break away from this, whether it's down or up. To trade it, I'd want this to be an up move because I'm a long biased trader without a doubt. But really what we want is for it to break out of this sideways pattern. This is no good for trading. Take care of yourself, Lynn and Randy. Enjoy the breakfast. Hopefully you have a great rest of your day. We'll see what the Fed does, and we'll see you on Happy Hour later today.
Yeah, PFE moving back up. Absolutely. Still trying to get back up to 27. 27 is the number. What else, folks? What else? NYCB might be seeing that move here soon to push up through 363. CTMX maybe trying to come back up as well.
It came into its VWAP there.
Mm-hmm.
SMMT, this was a former runner here. Big move here today. That was not on my list at all.
Yeah, NYCB, CTMX, and PFE look like the most decent ones right now for upside. That's about it right now. WISA, maybe that one as well. That one seems to be curling a bit here. As a matter of fact, MACD is showing that we could get back up to VWAP here at some point soon. Volume's not great, but the pattern looks okay. We've seen some more selling in the broader market. Let me move over to SPY here. We about to lose 501.
Yeah, Jay, you're right. Buying the pot names. That's one of the reasons why we talked about that right at the outset here. I understand some of the longer term view there on pot legalization, but we're not there yet. And buying it after a huge pop, not the way to do it. With you on that.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we just lost 501 slightly here. Let's see if we can see if it continues to accelerate to the downside. I wonder what happened here. Did we get some news in the broader market that just pulled it a bit here? Not that I'm seeing. Okay.
Market's just really kind of holding in. SPY's really trying to hold that 500 here.
Looking for 10 to 20 cents on CTMX. Hey, you know, that's great. I think that's fine because, you know, you're right. It can be pretty volatile. And if you're just looking to take this little pieces at a time to make profits, then, hey, that's what you got to do. I think that's perfectly fine. And it's a great way to protect yourself.
Apple's still holding near its highs here today. Did SMCI stop breaking down? Not really. Still at 705. Carm, you might get your 680 later if this continues. Alley's still trading sideways. Sure is. NVIDIA. Ooh, NVIDIA looks like this might set some new lows here. And that's what Jay was just mentioning there.
It's
Good
NVIDIA.
timing there, Jay. It is NVIDIA.
Thank you. Yeah, Amazon really came in too. It was up over 3% this morning. Now it's down to 1.7. Oh, Tesla's at 180. Okay, I didn't. I'm glad I looked at those. It's
Tesla really kind of pulling back here.
180 is a level that I have for Tesla. That was a previous important level that we saw support and resistance both sides over the past couple of years. So looks like we're getting some support from that right now. If we close above 180 and start to trade up, I think that the next visit down with 180, if that happens, would be right through it and into the low 170s.
What stock is this? I'm sorry.
Tesla. CTMX. Here we go.
Starbucks, more lows here. CTMX continuing its curl.
Yep. CTMX, Pfizer. Don't like
breaking down. That's a bummer. That's a bummer.
Still waiting for NYCB to finish this curl. Still has 363 as the intraday high to take out. We'll see if that can happen. Not sure though with it because the MACD is not looking like it's indicating that this momentum may have slowed down.
All right, I think we are ready here. Zunaid, how you doing here, man?
Good. What is going on, fellas? Hope y'all had a profitable trading day.
You know what we did? Yeah, we did. We actually had a fairly decent day here. Lots of stuff on deck early. Seems to be drying up here ahead of the Fed. We're going to have a lot more to do here in the afternoon when we hear from them. But so far, so good, Zunaid. No complaints. What do you got coming up for us?
Man, we've got an awesome guest coming up. You guys know that we love to talk about Apex and, prop firm trading. So we've got my man Stockman Trading, who's going to give us a little bit of insight on his tips and tricks, not just from the mental aspect of staying disciplined, but also how he's able to be profitable. He's got some cool stuff up his sleeve. So looking forward to that conversation.
Okay, awesome. Well, 13 and I will depart. We'll be back here again tomorrow. Zunaid, break a leg, dude.
You got it. Appreciate you. And what is going on, chat? We'll go ahead and transition on over. Make sure we got the there you go. Take that out. Put that in, and everything is all nice and dandy. Give me a thumbs up, Stockman. We'll go ahead and bring you up. Awesome. What is going on, brother? How you doing? Oh, you're on mute. That's all right. Everyone does it. I do it all the time. Can you try one more time? Oh, nope, still can't hear you. I don't know if it's something it's definitely not on StreamYard. Might be on your end on the computer side. See if that works for you. You're good. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here so we can go ahead and talk about some charts. the main thing that I was kind of taking a look at, and you can just go ahead and say hello whenever you're ready to go, so we know your mic is working. But how many times have we talked, chat, about the psychological level of 50-50, or just any, right? The 50, the hundreds, so on and so forth. And now you're muted on StreamYard, so whenever you're ready, Stockman, you can unmute and test it out. Nope, still nothing. No worries. I'll tell you what, AT, if you're able to kind of have a green room set up and then take my man over there to see if we can get that fixed, that would be great.
Let's see here.
Oh, I can hear you now. I
Yep,
hear you
how
now.
about now?
Perfect.
Can you hear me?
What's going on?
All right,
man?
awesome. Yeah, sorry about that. It looks like it had my default audio input device as something that wasn't connected to my laptop. So it's all good now. Thanks for having me on. How you doing, Zunaid?
Absolutely. I am doing well. Do me a favor, just kind of put the volume down a little bit on your speaker end, because then I'll hear the feedback from my own voice. But I followed you on Twitter for quite some time. I've seen how profitable you've been able to have with Apex themselves as well. Give us just a quick intro into your trading with Apex and the prop firm world.
Yeah. Okay. So the prop firm industry is great. So I had always, for the first 3 to 4 years of my trading journey, I had always used my own capital. And when I first got introduced to the idea of using a prop firm, it intrigued me because I noticed that a lot of my emotions and the reason that when I was in a trade, sometimes I doubt myself, I wouldn't adhere to my stop loss, things like that came from the anxiety and the emotions that come with, using a large portion of your own capital, right? Sometimes it can kind of get in your own head and cause you to maybe not think clearly. So the idea of a prop firm was interesting because you could pay, you want to develop a strategy, make sure you're profitable first. You don't go blowing all your money on evaluation accounts. But once you have an established strategy and you're profitable, then taking that and then using just a small portion, the Apex, when they have their 80% off sale, you can get a $50,000 eval account for $37, right?
Yeah.
And so when you're trading with so little of your own capital, it can go both ways. So for some people, it causes them to kind of treat it like gambling because they're like, oh, it's just $37. Let me just take these trades, right? But for me, the way I treated it was I only have $37 on the line. So let me just, trade this just as if it was, if you lose 37, you lose 37. Let's just stay clear-minded. And then I passed the evaluation account. And then once I went on to a funded account, my mentality also switched a little bit to be even more conservative. So what helped me to kind of achieve profitability was, so with a $50,000 account, everyone knows you're not trading, don't have $50,000 to put into a trade, and you're allowed a certain amount of leverage. So you're allowed 10 NQ contracts on a $50,000 account. It might be the same 10 ES, I can't remember, but because they have a trailing drawdown that is like,
2,500,
2,500, right? So that's 5% of the account. So if you are leveraging all the leverage that you're able to, you're going to be blowing these things left and right. And so what I've learned to do is I'll be waiting for high probability scalp setups, and I'll take, 1 contract during the market hours, and then just 2 contracts during the evening sessions, because there's less volatility, less range. So I can kind of play with 2 contracts. And it's very quick, high probability scalps, and I get in and out, and I don't have a large loss ability. So that keeps me away from that trailing drawdown. But what that does kind of have me do is it keeps me getting these slow and consistent gains. So I'm aiming for, between $150 to $300 a day on that account. You'll see a lot of people trying to hit, $1,000, $2,000 days, but with those big days typically comes a lot of risk. So that's kind of just my
your scalping strategy. And if you'd like, you can share your trading view charts if you're on your computer.
I have it pulled up. How can I
so if you look on the bottom, you'll see present. And then do share screen, and you can click on Google Chrome tab, and then you can go ahead and share your screen, because your scalping setup is what I really enjoy, because I know you have it, I don't want to say automated, but you have things coded where it kind of gives you a signal of like, hey, here's when this is the right time to possibly check this out. Here's when you can check that out. And that's the knowledge that I want our viewers to kind of walk away with. And I know today we only have about 12 minutes, but I do want to bring you back. But I want to give them a quick insights. So I see you got your charts up. I'm going to put them up, yeah?
Yeah, go ahead.
Awesome. Tell me what we're looking at top to bottom. I see the X. I see PR. I know someone on Twitter thought it was a press release. That's not what that means.
And that's okay. So this is on Amazon. So today the indices were a little choppy. I still did take futures trades on NQ, which you'll see here. So let me actually just switch to NQ. Oh, wow. Okay, we're getting a nice dump here. So
Yeah.
let me go ahead and show you what these signals mean. So the PR, what it's essentially saying there, it's a potential reversal. So what I'm doing is I've coded in an indicator where I'm looking at 5 points of confluence to happen simultaneously. So that's related to candle structure, volume, trend exhaustion, EMA. So when they all kind of line up, which you can see right here, where we end up looking for a pullback on a trend, then you'll get this PR signal, and then you can act on that. So what's nice about this one is it happened literally at the very top of this uptrend. It called the PR.
When
and
does
then
it
we had
get
this
printed?
huge dump.
When does it get
So
printed?
gets
So I
printed,
see
yeah.
we're at a 5-minute chart. So is that when that candle right there with the X over it, when that candle closes, is that when it gets printed?
Yeah, so it's interesting. It'll actually print live as the candle is forming. So it's not, so the only ones that actually stick and the only ones that I have send me an alert to my trading view and the only ones I act on are the ones that when they close, that PR signal remains intact. So what happens is it's always live. So you might see a signal develop and then disappear. Because it's using 5 simultaneous criteria, if it's 5 are met at one point, you'll see that signal fire.
Yeah.
If only 4 are met, 30 seconds later, because something changes, that signal will disappear. So I would never act on a signal that is still developing with the candle. However, if the signals are all intact upon candle close, that means the next candle is opening with those criteria intact, and that's what I would take a trade. So, for this trade,
I'm curious. Sorry. So right there, right, you have the X that's printed. The candle has closed on the 5-minute. If it's incorrect, right, because nothing is 100% in life. If it kind of goes the opposite way, does that PR go away as well, or does it stay there? So we're like, hey, this had printed. We were just wrong this time.
So yeah, so there's no repainting. So you'll see if I can go back and you'll see. So you can see here, the way I treat these is I'm looking for a bounce back into my EMAs. So when I see this printing, that's what I look for. So you'll see that you can go back as far as you want and they'll stay there forever. So once they print, they're there forever.
Yeah. Okay. Once the candle closes, it's there forever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Got it.
So this one is neat, and you'll see that it catches a lot of things at the top. If you look at Amazon, it literally caught the very top of today's intraday price movement, right? So we bounced on these demand zones that I have automatically plotted. You'll see we get this PR signal. And what I like to do is I like to mark the top of that wick as my hard stop in any entry there, right? So we never even pulled back there. We never even pulled back to pre-market high. And then we ended up just, dumping, pulling back into this supply zone, and then more downside. We got a short signal there. We flagged below my demand zone, and then we continued dumping there. So you'll see, you probably just saw that there. It'll flash for a second if it's getting some criteria for a signal. And then if those criteria go away, it'll kind of just undo itself. So this was something
candle, there it is. So let's stick on this chart because I do see it because it's meeting some qualifications. It's got 3 minutes and 25 seconds for the candle close. If that candle closes, it'll be interesting to see it kind of work out live. Now, earlier Amazon, right, hit the top, almost pre-market highs were busted. You had the X. As soon as that candle closes, is that when you're going short? Or are you waiting for like, hey, maybe I'll wait for it to come up a little bit, just have a better risk reward? Or are you just like, nope, as soon as the candle closes, the PR is there, I'm taking that trade?
Yeah. So it depends. So with this PR, what I like to do is I like to analyze kind of a few other criteria that you can't really code into an indicator. You just have to use human understanding, right?
There's an art to it, yeah.
Yeah. So if I get a PR signal that's very close to our EMAs or close to support, for example, this one, I was a little weary of it because it was still a green candle and we're very close to support down here. So I was cautious that maybe, this was just, one of those signals that we just end up continuing ripping higher. So I just waited for this next candle. I saw that we again saw that selling pressure on that top wick there. We were it looked like some exhaustion was happening. I also, we can draw a resistance area there, right? You can see that we wicked into it and rejected this area formed by the pre-market wicks here. Yeah. So that gave me some more confirmation. Hey, let me go ahead and enter this trade and let's see if we don't crack through this area here, then let's get some downside. And on this candle, because I'm a scalper, I took my profits here once we pulled back into VWAP and our EMAs, just because I didn't want to risk, some that was just a pullback and get some continuation. So that's what I did there. Now, of course, being a scalper, you do leave some on the table. So we ended up dumping all the way down here 10 minutes later.
Yeah, that happens.
And then we just kind of had a channel back into our supply, got a short signal. There was
your risk reward 1-to-1.
So it's actually a little bit higher. I have a little bit higher risk than 1-to-1, but my win rate is a lot higher than 50%. So it kind of works out because you can see I guess, for example, here, and because I'm trading options sometimes, the risk, it's hard to calculate because the way that theta and things, decay your contract is hard to factor in. But here, if this is my stop and then this is my target, I mean, I think
you're close to like a 1-to-1 there, I believe.
Yeah, but sometimes my risk will be a little bit higher, but I count on the fact that I'm notching at least 2/3 win rate, so that'll over time, if I extrapolate that increased. And then sometimes I also do get more than I bargained for. Sometimes this candle will dump way past I mean, for NQ, right? If for this short signal here, right, I was probably looking for a test of this support/demand area here, and if I was in on this candle, that huge dump would have probably taken me even further than my target if I didn't have a hard sell in place, so that kind of also sometimes compensates for the risk.
Well, let's talk about the NQ here real quick, because you have it coming up to your zone right over there, right? And matter of fact, what I've got here, let me go ahead and put my charts up here for a second, is I've got the 65-minute order block, right? So it's kind of bounced from there this morning. By the way, this was drawn, I think, maybe a few days ago, just because we've been busy with the NFL draft, so I haven't been trading. So it kind of perfectly hit right there. Now, in a situation like this, right? Obviously on my charts, it looks like, hey, support's holding. If we go ahead and put up your charts, it's looking like you might be running into resistance where you had support, but now it's resistance. When you get different information, I know one is mine, one is yours. How do you kind of say, okay, I'm going to take the trade? Or do you say, you know what, mixed signal, mixed messages, I'm just going to leave it alone?
Yeah, so for me, I would not take this trade, right? So for me, I'm very, now what I will say is I like to also look at volume. So looking at, actually, you know what, I think my chart is now pulled up. Yeah, so looking here, the dump had the majority of the volume. This pullback, you can see volume is dying out a little bit here on that pullback candle. So yeah, it could be setting up for another push down, maybe back to this support area here. But in terms of risk to reward, at this point, I think, so my trades would have been here on the PR, here on the short. I would have profited nicely off of both of those. Oh, look, it's starting to pull down a little bit here. But I would have profited nicely off of those two, and I wouldn't feel the need to hop back in a trade so quickly. So, and kind of the way that I look at it is I like to look at, the ratio of, the points of conviction you have for your trade and against your trade. If I have, 5 pieces of conviction for my trade and 1 or 0 against my trade, for me, that signals, hey, that's a high probability setup. That's something I would take. If I'm getting, I see 3 in my favor, 2 against me, I won't even take that, just because even though, 60% may be favoring what I'm looking at here, I want a much higher rate of success. So that's kind of how I distinguish. You'll hear like A+ setup, A setup, whatever. Everybody has their own way of determining what, how a setup is. My cat maybe jumped behind me on the chair here.
Well, that's all right. Everyone wants to be on the show. I appreciate that. Well, look, we've got about 3-4 minutes here. So I want to ask you, I'm sure the number one question that folks are wondering, and someone even asked in the chat, is, how, and I've used Ripster's clouds, right? And sometimes on my charts, when I trade, people will see it as well. I'm curious if that's where the inspiration of these clouds came from, but more importantly, how can folks get access to an indicator that you're currently using with the signals? Is it something that's paid? If so, where can they find you?
Yeah. So the idea of the clouds actually came from, for the longest time, about 3 years now, I had always used the 2 EMAs that I'd always used were the 9 and the 21. And I didn't originally have any kind of cloud or anything like that. But when I first created my script, so I have a Discord where I just kind of take suggestions. And something that someone said was, can you create something like a cloud where you can visualize the trend, whether it's flipping bullish or bearish. And then I kind of took that feedback and then created that. And then I started getting like, hey, this is pretty similar to Ripster's clouds, things like that. So yeah, definitely that's something that he did way before this. Then huge credit to him. It's a great idea. It's a great way to visualize trends. So but I think it's a very simple, just kind of like coding in, fill the white space between 2 EMAs, and then just, if they flip, if the 9 crosses below the 21, make that fill space red, and then, green if it's the inverse. So,
and of course, sometimes it's, you won't ever really know who did it first, as long, just because some may have a bigger mic, and we obviously know he has a bigger presence. That wasn't my intention at all. But where can folks find the indicator? Do you sell them in your Discord, or what's the best way for them to utilize it?
So I'm just Stockman Trading on Twitter. No numbers, nothing. So I have them in my bio. So if you're curious, it's not just this indicator. I've developed like 11 indicators. I got 11 scripts, and they all kind of do different things. I have one that, automatically plots fib levels. I have one for if to detect unusual volume. I have just one for the supports and resistances automatically, things like that. And so there's a link to that on my page, and it comes with like a little PDF 87-page one that I just worked on, just kind of thrown in there. And then the Discord also has built-in signals, and that's all. That package is $30. So try to keep it one of the cheaper offerings in the space, because I know how a lot of stuff has been getting super overpriced. So if you're curious and you want to check it out, I got a lot of videos that I also post just on my Twitter page or X, whatever. So yeah, and then so is this on the Spaces right now, on your Benzinga Spaces?
Yeah, so it should be on our Twitter. Yeah, absolutely. It'll be on our Twitter, and you'll have the link. I can send it to you via email after we're done with a couple of interviews here, and we can get things going. Thank you so much for your time, man. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem. All right. Absolutely. Have a good one. Thanks for having me.
Take care. You bet. That is Stockman Trading. Make sure you go ahead and check him out on Twitter and see if it's something that interests you. It's always interesting and it's helpful when you can go ahead and have a little bit of help from the AI and the coding side of things to get a little bit of help. But I'm going to go ahead and get ready for our all access here in just a moment. Give me one moment here. It's when you're doing multiple things, you got to go ahead and be nimble with it. Producer AT, let me know when you're ready to go as you go ahead and switch the brands and everything over yourself. I know he's producing something else. It looks like we are ready to rock and roll. Ted, give me a thumbs up if you're ready as well. Awesome. We've talked to Ted before, and it's always a great conversation. So today we're going to talk to Ted Murphy, who is the CEO of IZEA Worldwide. Ticker on the NASDAQ is IZEA. All access starts right now. Hey, good morning, Ted. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you doing?
Doing great. Glad you're back. I know we've got some visuals to go after here as well. But before we get to that, my man, give me a quick brief overview for the folks that may not be familiar at home. What is it that your company does?
IZEA is a MarTech company that is focused on the influencer marketing space. We have both software and services that we provide companies, primarily focused on Fortune 500 and Fortune 1000 brands, but we also have a software offering that is catering to smaller business as well.
We've kind of learned about this term in the past couple of years of it being a creator economy. We've seen it really, really rapidly, getting more important. You're the pioneer of the influencer economy, right? What has changed in the major trends in the last few years, but also how has it changed since you started in this space?
Oh my gosh. So we have to go way back. If we're talking about when I started, that's back to 2006. In the beginning, it was all about mommy bloggers. Honestly, mommy bloggers are really the pioneers of the influencer marketing space. When we first started doing this, it was on message boards and early blogs, and even on MySpace, of all things. And people were really focused on long form text content at that time. And what has changed is the advent of the iPhone and Instagram and TikTok and YouTube Shorts. And now people are really focused on high quality, snackable video content, primarily vertical content in nature.
Yeah, I mean, that short form content really is blowing up, and we continue to see ads and brands kind of go in that way. So let's talk about the brand's most effective use of the influencers, and how are you kind of enabling this?
I think that there's really two ways that brands are using influencers. One is for the people that have big reaches, hundreds of thousands, millions of followers. They're spending a lot of money investing in those campaigns, and the influencers themselves are making thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars for a single post to their social media feeds. And then one of the things that we've seen more recently is brands really starting to invest more heavily in UGC. So they are looking for content that's created by more, either nano influencers or just their end customers, and getting that type of content promoted and distributed through either their own social handles or doing paid promotion on the social channels.
And that second part is so important because sometimes people believe that, hey, if I don't have X amount of followers, no matter how good I am, I cannot get brand deals. I cannot get sponsorships. I cannot do this for a living. But that's just not true, because if you create quality things, brands can go ahead and use that and amplify it on their own message by the content that you've created. Let's talk about Form AI. Who is it for?
Oh my gosh, I love Form AI, so I get really excited when we talk about it. Form AI is a suite of AI tools that combines technologies from Stable Diffusion, OpenAI, and kind of brings them all into one platform. So we have the ability to create really high quality photo images, text images, create videos of talking portraits, and also you can use ChatGPT right inside of the system as well. So it's really cool. It's focused on both brands and creators. It's super low cost, but it's designed for more of those power users. So if you think about going into ChatGPT normally and asking it for an image, you might get 1 or 2 images back. In our system, you can go and you can create 96 images in one shot, and it's really fast.
Now, how does that differentiate from IZEA Flex?
So Flex is really geared toward our enterprise marketers. So those brands that are spending, hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in their influencer marketing initiatives. It provides a platform for them to manage all of their creators, manage talent agents, manage payments to creators, contracting. There's a content repository, and it connects directly into Shopify. So it allows them to actually close the purchase loop. When an influencer is promoting a product, they can actually see who bought the product on the other side, what product they actually bought, and then see their ROI for each individual influencer in their content.
So you've got a lot of cool things that are currently going on. I like the Flex video aspect of it, especially with what we talked about in terms of video and the fact that enterprises are able to utilize it as well to benefit their own bottom line. Let's talk about money. You reported a slight decrease in revenue and an increase in operating costs for Q1 this year versus what you had reported in Q1 of 2023. What happened to kind of lead to this?
I think we're talking about Q4. So it was actually a slight increase. Yeah. A 1% increase in revenue, and then also an increase in expenses. Last year, if you go and you read our earnings, or you listen to our earnings calls, you read the transcripts, you'll know that we parted ways with a very large customer last year. So it was a big transitionary year for us. We had a lot of costs with those transitions, and also we were making investments and expanding into new markets. So we expanded into South Korea last year. Prior to that, we made investments in China and the UK. So we are very much so in a growth mode right now. We are investing in that growth, both on our managed services side of our organization, as well as in technology.
Now, do you expect this trend to continue?
We expect this year we're going to see increased bookings. It's going to take some time for that revenue to catch up to the bookings. But if you look at the numbers that we just reported for our Q1 bookings, they were up 53% year over year to 9.3 million. So we're back on a good bookings growth trajectory. We expect that to continue. We are trying to grow this company. And so when you listen to our last earnings call, I laid out a vision to get to $75 million in annualized revenue over the next 3 years. And we're pretty confident that we're going to get there.
And I'm pretty confident, as I'm sure you are as well, the creator economy is just kind of the beginning, right? We were used to in this space, and this is my opinion, that you had actors and actresses that were on movies and screens and ads, but now you have creators that are there. I know plenty of them that now work with the NBA. There was a meme that was going about a TikTok creator and how they were kind of gaslighting him and making fun of his content. The NFL picked it up and said, hey, you're popular. We're going to use you. So he got a bag from the NFL. So we're in this space, in my opinion, it's just the bottom of the first. But what is your take in terms of the future of influencing?
I think that it's still very early days. I mean, I've been at this for almost 17 years now, so it sounds crazy to even say that. But as these tools and the technologies continue to grow and more people get access to be able to create content, there's only going to be more of it. And our goal is really to democratize the sponsorship aspect of this space and give more opportunities to more people, those smaller creators who may not have the chance to go out and reach out to a brand directly or out to their agency. We provide a way for them to connect to those brands and agencies and get their first deals.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This is a space that I'm sure you and I will be continuing conversations on, and I appreciate you coming on this morning.
Thank you.
You got it. That is Ted Murphy, who is the CEO of IZEA Worldwide. Ticker on the NASDAQ is IZEA. And we thank you for watching All Access.